What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my show, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, and you have not yet, please take a second to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. It is a huge help for me, and, it's free to do. If you enjoy the show, leave me a review about what you like about the show. Slide me a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. It takes no time at all, and it's a big help for people that you enjoy, and not just me, but if you have podcasts that you like, do the same thing for them, because it's important. We're out here working hard, and to produce a product that we're proud to give you, and I'm damn proud to give you good episodes each and every week. But more important thing than that, May 1st at 10 a.m., two of the great brands in the city of Pittsburgh are coming together to provide a yin-splosion, as Mikey and Big Bob would say. But Steel City Brand and Turner Dairy Farms are coming together to release a merch capsule. That might not be the right terminology, but they got a handful of designs that they're dropping at steelcitybrand.com May 1st, 10 a.m. I do not know how many pieces that they got made. So, you got to hop on there. You got to hop on there quick. The shit's going to sell out like a Supreme drop. But May 1st, 10 a.m., Steel City Brand, Steel City and Turner Tea collaboration. What more could you want as being a individual from Pittsburgh? It's the greatest city in the world. But we got some eventful things coming up, in my personal life, at least. We all know that I got a dog. You could hear her barking in some of the episodes now. You could hear her getting out of pocket a little bit. And we had Tina Parker on here a couple weeks ago. She was a dog trainer. And this week is the first week for dog training. And I'm getting this episode done a little bit earlier, but I'm recording this the day before we go to training. So next week you'll have an update. But I'm excited to get that dog into some training because she's a little bit nuts right now. But I would never give her up. You know what I mean? I would never give it up. But people were definitely messaging me, asking me about if I had went and what I think about it. People that have dogs, they were asking me my opinion about it, and I haven't gone yet. But this is the first week. But I'll definitely be updating my progress with that. But also, Patrick explores. We talked to Patrick. He was the gentleman who hiked along the Appalachian Trail. He's leaving for the Pacific Crest right now. You can go to Patrick Explores on Instagram and follow along with his journey. I'm very, very anxious to see about all the cool shit that he's doing. But the reason that everyone is here right now, the conversation I had this week was probably the most powerful conversation that I've had on here to date. I talked to Matt Thornton. Matt Thornton was a person that I followed on social media. I saw that he was active doing media stuff, videos, photography. We have a lot of mutual friends whose paths cross. And, it's kind of a small world in Pittsburgh. People tend to know a lot of the other same people, but I asked Matt to come and talk to me because Matt is also a recovering addict, and I asked him to come on and talk to me about it. I wanted to hear about his journey. On social media, he is very, very open about his past, and he's very vocal about the positive things that have happened in his life, and he's very vocal about the possibilities that are out there for someone who is struggling, or someone you might know that might be struggling. It's just he's a very positive person on social media, and I knew that he would be a great person to sit down and talk to about this because, I was someone long ago who was a very ignorant person in regards to addiction and, loved ones that were caught up in addiction. And I've since, I was a young kid, I changed my mind. My mind and my heart, updated. You know what I mean? They progressed in life, as everyone should. You know, as they get older, you should progress in life. You know, things need to progress over time. But me and Matt sit down and we talk about his journey through addiction and his journey through recovery. And September 14th, I believe, he hits 11 years of sobriety, and you know, that's huge. And it's even more impactful after you hear, you know, like his story and everything he's gone through, and all the people that he's lost in his life. And you know, it's I guess I never really got to sit down and talk to someone who's been through recovery and ask questions and kind of get the full story. And me and Matt sit down, and that's exactly what we do. We talk through his life, and you know, how at one point he was in a really bad place. And I believe, you know, my favorite line in this episode that he said was, you know, I don't know what happened, I just love my life now. And it was super powerful. So without further ado, episode 160 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Matt Thornton.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. I'm working it out here. I just got this board, you know. It adds a little bit of a, you know, before I would just like we would do a rolling start, but now I could like put the music through people's headphones.
I love it.
Gets them pumped up a little bit more.
It did get me pumped. I'm a very music driven person, man.
I'm glad.
And I heard that's dope.
I'm glad. I like that. That's my buddy Ryan Drush made that. Nice. He made that a while ago, and I loved it so much. I never had any desire to ever change it.
I wouldn't change it.
It's perfect.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect length and everything.
Yeah. Now that you got it going through the headphones, it's like
I know. So before I was in an apartment, you know, my wife and just in our living room, I would like pop this up and, you know, tear it down after every interview. And it was nice, and it was like, you know, cozy and homey and stuff. But, you know, I didn't have cans for everyone. I didn't have like, you know, a consistent type of environment to like interview people. So like I never had, people weren't able to hear the music. People weren't able to hear like the, you know, like I do a opening segment. It's called What's in the Cup. What's in the cup? So what's in your cup?
it's cold brew coffee.
This is cold brew coffee.
Made by Chad himself.
So I made this, okay, and cold brew, I guess if you want to be technical, you don't use heat. You just put it in a cheesecloth and let it go.
Yeah.
My secret is I just brew coffee and I leave it in the fridge for like a day, and I love it. I think it tastes so good.
Yeah, it's very good. I love coffee. Of course, like I had to switch up. Coffee's
Your vice?
my vice now. Yeah, because I gave up a lot of other vices.
Well, why? So that was like, you know, there was very few things that I like wanted to, you know, specifically touch on. And one of them, you know, we'll get into it now, but like one of them is like anyone that I know who's in recovery has completely changed their, you know, focus from, you know, anything else, any other vice to like caffeine or nicotine.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like I know a few people that are in there, and it's like they drink caffeine, and they just smoke a bunch of cigarettes.
Yeah,
I mean,
no cigarettes. I just recently, it's been an up and downhill with nicotine.
Yeah,
but it's almost been almost 10 years without cigarettes. But then I was vaping there a little bit, and then just recently I went. It was during the quarantine. I was filming down in Boca Raton, Florida.
Yeah.
And I was staying with my buddy. He's retired. He's like an older gentleman. And he smokes Padron cigars.
Oh, wow.
Like, he smokes them like they're cigarettes.
Just rips through them all day?
Just rips through them all day. And like...
Does he inhale them?
No.
Oh,
no.
thank God.
He just recently quit after he got me hooked.
Oh, jeez. So like you were on the cigars for a while?
Oh, dude, I was on a cigar like during the whole quarantine, and like my fiance hated it, you know, and it got to the point where I was like, like sneaking to buy cigars and stuff.
And then you're like, this is not feeling right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know. I never really had like, I smoked cigarettes,
Yeah.
you know, I quit probably 7 years ago, but I remember starting, you know, I started whenever I was like 17, just because all my friends were smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
I remember like, I was like, I'm old enough now. Like I look old enough. I'm going to just go buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I would smoke these cigarettes and like, you know, I hated them at first. It's like the first time you try like beer and stuff like that. You hate the taste, but eventually you're like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I became like a chain smoker for, you know, years. And then I think I like wore myself out on it because whenever I quit, you know, for the whole year before that, I would just like smoke like 4 puffs and then put it out. And I could never light a short up again because like it would taste so gross to me. So I was just like pissing away money.
Oh man.
It was so much money for me to just take like, you know, literally I was smoking probably like a third of a pack of cigarettes, but paying full price because
Yeah.
I would take a couple puffs, put it out.
Yeah.
But so you were into cigarettes though for a minute?
I was. And then like, as far as like the vices, the reason for like, I would say people switch to the caffeine is most likely because it's not going to kill us. You know, it's like,
it's a good point. It's a fair point.
I mean, the nicotine, it definitely will kill you, but
my goodness.
But I just, and like I do it with this, like just recently with the cigar stuff. Like I drink wheatgrass every morning. Like I'm big into health stuff. Like
I love wheatgrass.
Yeah, my buddy in Mount Washington like grows it in his basement and he sells
Wheatgrass?
it. Yeah, dude, he sells it. He freezes it. I mean, when
That's
he freezes
so
it,
sick.
you lose some of the nutrients, but it's not as much as like
Yeah, you would think.
But like, yeah, he got crops in his basement. He does like he said,
Little scissors in there.
Yeah, a little side business of slinging wheatgrass.
I don't do it all the time, but whenever I have it available, I had a buddy on here. His name is Ralph, Yoga Ralph. He's been on here a couple times, but he like, you know, he transformed my whole mindset of literally so many things in my later years. Like, I don't think he understands how motivational he is to me.
Yeah.
Got me into yoga, got me into like doing weird shit like that, like having wheatgrass. Like now he gets me into like starting to think about like these crystals. He's getting into Reiki and stuff. And
oh wow.
And I'm just like, you know, he put a post up the other day that said the universe is cheering, go Ralph, go. But I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm definitely gonna you know, be fully motivated to get wherever it goes. And I'm just like, man, it's like motivating to me. He used to be like 350 pounds and he was just like, you know, typical dude would just like, you know, smoke weed, eat food. And he was just like, he was a big dude.
Yeah.
And then he just said, fuck it one day and just got an elliptical and would just be in his basement for like 45 minutes at a time. And now he's just like, you know, he runs these dope ass yoga sessions through Yoga Flow. He'll play like Mac Miller instrumentals.
Oh, nice.
And he always like promotes it as I put the OG in yoga. And it's just like a guy that makes it more approachable through like your stereotypical man. Because like, you know, usually men are like, you know, yoga is like a feminine thing. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I just started diving into it myself.
you like it?
Yeah, I like it. And I the only thing I don't like about it is how I realize how not flexible I am.
Oh yeah, you ain't shit after you.
And I'm just like, wow, am I not flexible, dude? And I started like getting down on myself, but like, I'm not doing it in classes. I'm doing it like I use the Apple Fitness,
Yeah.
and I use it.
So you never did hot yoga?
No,
It's like
no.
it's like you almost have like it's almost like you're having like a spiritual moment because
really?
like it's so fucking hot you can't even like breathe. Like it's like 120 some degrees and you're just in there for like an hour and a half and like you've never sweat more in your entire life. And
Yeah.
whenever you come out of there, you feel like you know, Tim Robbins in Shawshank at the end where he's just like looking up into the rain, just holding his arms up. But, you know, Ralph has a way, you know, usually guys are like, you know, yoga is, it's for women, but like, you know, nowadays it's like you got people like Diamond Dallas Page, who's like, you know, he's like a spokesperson for like the positive things yoga could do. And it's like pretty incredible, but like I'll dabble into that. My wife got into it, but like, you know, I need to get better about my health and fitness, but wheatgrass, he got me into it full circle. You know, I'm professional. We come full circle around here. Yeah. I rip one of them and it felt like it was lightning inside me.
Yeah.
It was wild, dude. I was like, I texted him. I was like, I can't believe that. Like, he was like, this is everything you ever need in life. This is the elixir of life. This and water.
I recently had the opportunity to do film the owners of Pittsburgh Juice Company.
Yeah.
And I went down there to do some like B-roll shots at the Pittsburgh Juice Company. And then they had this thing called Brain On, which is like algae.
Oh, wow.
So I've been like double dosing on the green stuff in the morning with the wheatgrass and the Brain On algae stuff. And like, I feel great, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I was down bad. I got my first shot this past weekend, like with
What'd you get?
the Moderna.
Yeah, and you felt it?
Oh yeah, I felt it. I felt like it was pretty harsh. Yeah.
See, everyone that I've talked to, I've gotten both of mine. You know, I've had Pfizer, and I think it's the first time I even talked about it on here. But like, I didn't feel anything. Like, you know, my arm was hurting, but went away in like 10 hours. And same thing with my wife. The second shot, she like took a nap because she felt a little bit tired, but like we didn't have really any, you know, side effects. And my cousin and his wife is like she's like one of the head pharmacists around here. So like I talked to her about it a lot, and she was saying that like everyone that she really like has heard of having bad side effects was Moderna. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to hear that because like, you know, I know a bunch of people that have it now. So I always ask people like, how'd you feel? Yeah. And it's weird how like everyone has a different response to it all.
Yeah. So I had COVID. Me and the family had COVID back in November. Yeah.
Holy shit. How was your experience with it?
So I feel like that first shot of Moderna was like a little preview of like what I had with the real thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was my experience was just like I was exhausted, and I had a cloudy thinking, and like I just was like blah.
Yeah.
You know, like
how long?
I would say a week. I was like probably down for a week, but I had to quarantine for 2.
Yeah. I think you're the first person that I talked to on here that has had it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so wild that like people could have like a crazy, like you see like UFC stars, like champions who are like in the most peak physical shape.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, it like wrecked me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear though. So like you say you and the family, your fiance, did your kid had it?
Yeah, my kid had it too.
Jeez.
Now, we didn't get her tested, but we feel like she was the first to have it because she was sick before us.
That makes sense. That's interesting. But you guys definitely, you know, fared out pretty pretty all right though.
Yeah. I was worried because my fiance is pregnant.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
We have a baby due in May 20th. It's creeping right up.
May 20th. Yeah, it's so quick.
Yeah.
How old is your daughter?
She'll be 3 in July.
Wow. You got your hands full.
Yeah.
I bet. You see, I don't, like I said, we've never met before. I don't know much about you, but I see you look like a great dad. Like you look like you're a fun dad, and you guys look like you have a good time. And I saw that your fiance was pregnant again, but May 20th is wild. You know what it is?
No, we're gonna leave it up.
I like that.
Surprise.
That's interesting.
We'll see once it's born.
Well, that's an exciting time, but I mean, a whole family having COVID, and then like, did you have any of the loss of smell or appetite?
Oh yeah, so like, I was like messing with my fiance. Like I was like, she's like, I can't smell or taste anything. I was like, I could still smell or taste. Like,
yeah,
look, this tastes good.
Yeah,
you know, like, and then just I think me doing that crept up on me, and then I lost it. I completely lost it, and I felt like that didn't come back to normal for a while.
Really?
Like my physical feelings, like like the like being exhausted and the cloudy thinking was like they wear off about a week, but like the sense of smell and taste was like it was lingering for a while. Yeah,
that's weird. I feel like
it was the weirdest thing I've experienced in my life.
I know. I feel like that would be so weird. Someone that I know was like, they were talking about how they were spraying like lavender on like, they had like a bed spray.
Yeah.
Some girl we just talked to, Antoinette's friend, she was like, I was spraying it all on this thing. And I was like, is this, did it go bad? Does it not have any smell or anything? And she had COVID, but yeah, it's wild.
My fiance has doTERRA essential oils.
Yeah.
And there's this one called Breathe, and it opens you up. Like you put it on your palm.
You're just like, I don't smell nothing.
Dude, nothing. I was like whiffing it too, dude. And
That's
like,
crazy.
usually you could feel it, like, because
Yeah.
your eyes start watering.
Yeah.
I had no reaction.
That's wild. That's crazy. It's so much. It's wild how many people have it, and where we are in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But how old are you? I got to how old are you?
38.
So you're 38. Did you grow up around here?
I grew up like the South Side area, Mount Washington.
All right. And
So like South Side. I was born. When I was born, I lived down in South Side.
Yeah.
Near my cousin's bar, McGardle's Pub, on 16th Street.
Yeah.
Then we moved up top to near Work Hard on Climax Street.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Mount Washington. And then my dad lived in Sheridan, so I'd bounce between Mount Washington and Sheridan. Then my mom wanted to get me out of the city because I couldn't keep out of trouble.
Yeah.
She moved me out to Swissville. So like I went to 4 different high schools, you know.
You were all going all over.
Yeah, we went to Carrick, Langley, Brashear, and Woodland Hills.
Jeez.
So I was like,
through the ringer.
yeah, I was world tour of Pittsburgh.
A world tour. Younger, obviously, like what would you say your title is right now? Because I know that you're like the Boca Recovery, what was it, media director, does it say on your Facebook?
Yeah, I do a lot. I've actually pretty much everything on their website and on their YouTube was done by me.
Now, obviously you do that now, but it's like, how did you get into, all this stuff with audio and like the video and like the photography and stuff?
So that started, so when I've always, like, throughout my whole life, I always wanted to do that, but like because of circumstances and the lifestyle I was in,
yeah,
like it seemed far-fetched, and I got clean September 14th, 2010.
11 years now.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, dude.
When did that journey start though? Like, when did you get into all your vices? He said,
I shared a photo today on my Facebook. It was probably like 12,
I saw that.
12 years old. That's probably when I started dibbling and dabbling. But my vices wasn't like, my vices was the lifestyle too.
Yeah.
Because like I glamorized that.
Yeah.
At the time, like my parents were separated and like, I don't know what was going on between like my mom and my dad, but like it was just like chaos there, like, and I just witnessed that. And then growing up in the 90s up there on Climax Street, like the people that I glamorized were like the people that were in the lifestyle, or like whether it be drug dealing or the gang stuff, like, and I was just like, that's what I want to be, And I started watching those movies and like, I was just lost, Yeah.
It's understandable. I would guess.
Yeah. And like, not only that, at that time, like I was diagnosed ADHD. So I was getting put on all types of medicines.
Like Ritalin and shit.
Yeah. Adderall, Ritalin. They put me on way worse stuff, but like that stuff was, and I was like, I hate to say it, I was like a lab rat for that medicine, cause I was like in the early or late 80s, 90s being put on that stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy because the first time I've ever heard of someone being on Ritalin was whenever I was in probably like 8th grade. I think there was some kid in my school who was on it, and we knew because he was fucking bouncing off the walls. Like he was definitely like a very, very high strung kid, but it had to be like 8th grade. So if you're 8 years older than me and you started that in like 14, that had to be like, that's a long time. I'm 30.
Yeah.
So like that was a while beforehand.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy that people were doing that back then.
Yeah, I was probably like 10 when I started getting put on.
Yeah.
And like I was a kid, man. I didn't know how to act.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I was reacting because like I was like at the time, like I was just like I didn't know what my parents were doing,
Yeah.
And then like I was being put on this medicine that was making me feel like crazy. And then they would call me. There was like no discreetness about it. they would call me to the office, and then like kids would try to pick on me for taking medicine.
Oh, you mean they would call you to take your meds?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. Like over the loudspeaker.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then like,
why the fuck you keep getting called down there? Yeah, that's wild.
And then it was just like, I feel like that kind of like started that process of like feeling like I needed to be on something.
Yeah.
So then when I got to like to that picture, circle back to that picture that I was talking about, I was like, I didn't want to be picked on for being put on medicine, you know, so I started like self-medicating with weed or something, you know. And then
so you stopped taking that medicine? And
sometimes like I would be forced to take it because like I would have to take it at school or I would have to go home.
Yeah, that's wild.
So then I would have that crazy reactions between the weed and the whatever ADHD medicine I was on. So I would have those like those interactions, and sometimes I'd get like higher on the weed or something, you know, like so.
Yeah.
But that was like the beginning of it, and you know, and then in 2001, January 29th, it was like the day after Ravens won their first Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I was in an accident out in Swissville behind the Edgewood Town Center, and a freight train sucked me up off the side of the tracks.
What?
Yeah, that's usually the reaction I get when
You were walking?
I was walking, yeah. My ex got on the bus, her Pat bus. They were doing construction right there. It was where Swissville Avenue meets Braddock Avenue.
Yeah.
And there used to be steps there, but like I used to cross the tracks all the time, you know, and they were doing construction, expanding the East Busway behind Edgewood Town Center.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing that construction. Her bus was pulling off. My back was turned, and like it was going too fast in residential, and it like sucked me off the side of the tracks. Like I wasn't even on the tracks.
Jesus.
So it like hit me 15 yards, and the dog like funny. I mean, I joke about it now, but like it was pretty serious back then. But
How old were you in that?
18. Never had a broken bone until that day, dude. I had a whole bunch.
He said I had a whole bunch. So I mean, you were pretty bad?
Yeah. So I don't remember anything. First response fireman said he pulled up, seen me laying there. I was like groaning in pain, and I had these brand new like Air Maxes on, right?
Oh.
And
not the Air Maxes.
Yeah. And I was laying there, and he said I was looking down, and my one leg was like bent, but like the shoe was gone. And he said like I looked at him dead serious, and I was like, "Where's my Air Max, bro?" And then he said I just went unconscious.
Jeez.
But like my ribs punctured my lung, my hip broke, my fib and tib and my lower leg completely snapped in half. My right arm broke. It was just like, oh, you never had a broken bone? Well, now's your day.
Yeah, now you're gonna have all of them.
And the doctors said it was like I had a 10% chance. They went in and said I had a 10% chance.
Really?
Living. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But that was when I got introduced into my drug of choice.
Yeah, what pills?
Prescription pain pills, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because I've had family that has struggled with it, and I don't know personally, but like, so many people around me, it's like I could kind of feel how, it's almost like gravity for them, like the people that I did know.
Yeah.
And I'm very transparent about it. Another reason that I wanted to like have you on and talk to you is like, I was the worst type of person. Whenever I was like 20, 21, I was one of them people that were like, basically just like, that's their bed. They lie, let them lie in it, whatever happens, fuck them, I'm the first person to admit that. My cousin who, she had a long battle with like heroin, and she's out now and clean, and she's been clean for a few years, and I see her now, and it's like whenever I think about her now, I almost like I get like emotional thinking about the way I was, because we're only a year or two apart. So I get emotional about the way that I thought about things back then, whenever she was in like the peak of her troubled times. And how like, I could have been not necessarily more supportive, but more understanding.
Yeah.
but I was just like, I was a young kid that was just like, I thought that I knew better. But, I talked to her about that and like about how, she's went about her recovery. And it's like, I don't know, it's just so crazy to think about that. So much of it starts from just pain pills and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is that what you were saying right there is like, because like my drug of choice was pain pills.
Yeah.
Like I felt that way, exact same way that you did towards like my cousin that was hooked on heroin. Or my one of my best friends started smoking crack young. Or, and I was just like, whoa, look at this junkie. What's this junkie doing?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like I was a junkie.
It's just like a different way.
I was in this self-denial, like I had no empathy for that because like what was crazy, it was like my process, like when I was a juvenile, I was put in a juvenile correction facility, and then I went to like a little halfway house, and in that halfway house, they used to take us to NA meetings.
Yeah,
and I was probably like 15 years old, and I would go to these meetings. I should probably rephrase that, but 12-step. Yeah, I should probably rephrase that. 12-step meetings, and I would go to them, and I would see the differences instead of similarities.
Oh wow!
And that's what kept. And so what's crazy is like I went to those 12-step meetings when I was 15, right?
Yeah.
And then I went down this path of pain and just like disparity and until I was 28.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like I ended up in a adult facility doing the same stuff that I did when I was 15.
Yeah.
It was like a jail work release program where I was taken to 12-step meetings again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live my life. Like when I went down to the jail, like I was just like, I went down there, I knew a majority of the people, and I seen some dudes like twice my age walking around the pod, like acting like it was the coolest shit on earth to be in jail.
There. Yeah, in there.
Chest pumped out, like looking, gritting on people, like just with
wild.
that warrior mentality. Like, and I was like, and I sat there and I was like, I was so sick too, man.
And now I'm sorry. When, like, how old were you when this happened?
When I got clean?
No, whenever you were in jail.
Yeah. That was 10 years ago.
So this happened 10 years ago. Now, you said before, whenever you were younger, were you not like hooked on drugs before? You said that your drug of choice was after your accident.
Yeah. So I was still like, I still had like the behavior.
Okay, so that was
the lifestyle thing.
That was your lifestyle. Like, so you were in and out of, like, you're saying you were in like the what was the phrase you just used whenever you were young? The juvenile detention center?
Yeah,
that was because you were causing trouble.
Yeah, because I was truant from school.
Okay.
Or like I was getting in fights in school.
Yeah.
And then I was adjudicated dependent by like where CYF had control over me. Partial control over me.
Yeah, so you had to like kind of adhere to what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and it was just like,
how long were you in there?
In that juvenile?
Yeah,
I wasn't gone that long. It was probably like 5 months. I was gone for the part of the spring and summer. You know?
And is that like a stereotypical, like, like kind of like a cinematic look of it all? Like it's kind of like, what do I think about? You ever see Gridiron Gang? Is it something like that? That's a crude representation of it, but it's like, I've never been in something like that. So it's like, how is it what it looks like in movies and shit like that? Like
some parts. Yeah. I mean,
I feel like you can't even really like compare that.
Yeah, I know. I got sent to a school for kids like that too.
Yeah.
During middle school. And that was insane.
Yeah.
They had rubber rooms.
Wow.
They had like 20-year-old staff like that would get off on like messing teenagers.
Yeah, fucking someone up for sure.
They would, and then they would. This was like during the peak of gang times in the city of Pittsburgh.
So you probably have people that are like, they claiming their own stuff.
Yeah, so like I was from Climax Street. I was from the South Side, which was like a predominantly Crip neighborhood, and then they put us in the same class with like Hill or Garfield, dude, and it was just like constant chaos. And then you had like Northside. It was like everybody from the city.
Yeah, a little bit of everyone in there, and
then
just like
you just had like this constant chaos going on. It was just
Royal Rumble.
But then like it wasn't. And then like I had some tight friends from Manchester, which was like a totally different like gang than what my neighborhood like represented. Like, and it was like I had some good friendships there. It's just like.
Do you feel that time benefited you going there?
In my adult life, I say I am a good people reader because you have to read people in those situations, or you could get messed up. You know, like
that's an interesting. You'd be able to read a room, kind of, so to speak.
And then it gives me a different view on life, man. Like because like there's a lot of parts of my childhood I don't remember because it was just like. It's post-traumatic stress that I haven't dealt with, you know, like. Yeah,
for sure.
Like,
and it's like you came out of that and you know, you came out of that and you had like some normalcy. And then, you know, after your accident, you know, shit started going, you know, a little bit more haywire.
No, I would say like I dropped out of school before the accident. After my accident, I signed back in the school, did 2 grades in 1 year, went to the CCAC in Woodland Hills.
Wow.
Then got my own apartment.
Yeah.
My senior year.
Oh, wow.
And then dropped out again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was a waste of time, you know, like.
Yeah.
But like at that time, like I just wanted to party all the time, you know, like.
Live the lifestyle of it.
Yeah, I didn't want to grow up ultimately.
No one ever does.
Yeah. And then it was like, and then like, I would have jobs here and there, but like once I started to see like I had friends that were like in the lifestyle, like selling stuff.
Yeah, like hustling shit. Yeah. It was just way easier.
Yeah, and I just started doing that, and then it was just like.
And
like there was always this sense.
Yeah.
Inside me that I was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know.
That's interesting to hear.
You know, and it was like but like. I felt like that feeded my addiction too, because like it got to the point where like I needed to be high to do live the way I was living.
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, like I wasn't becoming physically dependent on the pain pills, you know, like because I would do them.
It's like a mental thing.
Yeah, I would do it every once in a while, and then it got to the point where like I was doing them like. Every day, and then I was just like, I don't know.
And what year is this? 2008, 2007.
So, no, I was still doing pretty, like as well as I could be doing as a legal living making person. So I Super Bowls when we started winning the first Super Bowls of our generation. So 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And
because it's I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's interesting now because I've heard, you know, people talk about how like, you know, I've watched some documentaries about how like things are more regulated now as far as like pills and everything. So it's like back then, this is before like, you know, there's like crazy strict regulations and like the pills that you can't crush and like all that crazy shit.
Mine. So like, it's kind of reminiscent like to like the you ever see the documentary Cocaine Cowboys?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like how wide open like the market was, like just like that's how it was.
That's
for me because like I had the real pills. Like I had doctors, like dirty doctors, writing me scripts. You know, I had people from Florida sending up scripts. You know, like it was just like
the Wild West.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's fucking insane to think about.
And like I was, and it was just like crazy how much like I was consuming.
And it's almost like wild to think about like how lucrative that is. So it's almost it keeps feeding into it.
Oh yeah,
it's like, you know, it's a whole revolving, you know, universe of like, you know, you're getting this, you're getting good money, and it's like, you know, you have them here, right here. Why not do it? It's like you're living in that lifestyle.
Yeah, it was insane, and it was just like the lifestyle I was living. It was just like it was at that time. It was very bountiful.
Yeah.
And then like you said, the regulations started happening.
Yeah. When do you think that came into play?
So that was probably towards the end of like the peak of my addiction, and I would say that's probably like 2009, 2010.
Did you ever see that documentary about that guy? He's the father of, his son passed away, and it was because like there was a doctor's office that was like putting out.
Oh, that was
the pharmacist, I think it was.
Yeah,
called.
That was on Netflix, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. I seen parts of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Like that was just crazy because for someone who's like not involved in that lifestyle or like knows too much about it, like that shed a little bit of light on how corrupt the system was and how easy it was for people to just like they were showing like just fucking boxes of these pills and and I don't know, that's just like you said, bountiful. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, and like the thing was like because of like the people I surrounded myself with, and like don't get me wrong, I was raised with good morals and values. You know, my family instilled those into me, but like being that I like where I gravitated towards my whole childhood and then my adulthood, I was in the circles where like it was okay to do that, Yeah. So like I didn't feel bad doing that, and I didn't feel bad like going to a dirty doctor and just like slipping them cash at the front and then getting a script, like I didn't like, and that was just like that was my life then, and like I didn't know how caught in the grips I was. Yeah.
It was moving so fast. You couldn't stop and like look back and like reflect on it.
Yeah. I had years fly by me, I mean, I had like a girlfriend at the time, like we were together, and then my addiction took over, and like, I thought she was the wrong person, because I was just in that fantasy land, and then like when the like stuff started happening with regulations and doctors started getting busted, like, that's when like I got sick. Like that's when I started going like physical withdrawal.
Yeah, because you couldn't have it. Like you couldn't get what you needed to get to be able to like keep that addiction like at bay.
For sure, yeah. Like and then like that's when I started like my life started going more downhill. Like it was already downhill.
Yeah,
but it started going more downhill. My addiction started like growing, and like there was like. Like when they started like making the fake, or not the fake, but like the Oxycontins, that people couldn't crush up, like people didn't want to buy them, and then, like there goes part of my.
I remember kids in high school that would soak, like pills in water to dissolve it and then just drink them. Yeah. I remember, people had like hose clamps. And they would like try to shave stuff down.
I had those.
It's like I remember all this. Like this is all very, very like this was definitely like around. I knew people that were doing all this, and it was fortunate that I was always able to like kind of like keep away from all that enough. But I always like seen it. Like I knew about all this shit, and it was like crazy. It was like overwhelming for me to think about. I never even like. I don't drink alcohol because like I'm afraid of like throwing up.
Yeah.
Like that's literally where it all came from. And it's just I kind of like stayed away from like, all that stuff. And it's like, I've tried weed and shit like that. I've had mushrooms and like, but I never like got too crazy into it all. But because it always just seemed so overwhelming to me, like, the people that I did know that were doing it, like how, important it was. Like that was always the first thing. It's like, where's this going to be? How am I going to get this and that?
Yeah. Some people, it's like it's definitely like a gene.
Yeah.
It's like and like, I definitely like.
Now you weren't going to like, you had no sort of mindset to like kind of change your trajectory towards recovery.
I mean, there were so many people, like there were so many like signs that like it was my biggest thing was probably like my pride, you know, because like I wasn't shooting dope or smoking crack or doing like crazy drugs. But like, and I was just like, I'm fine, Yeah. Meanwhile, I wasn't working, you know, and I was just like living a crazy life.
Yeah.
And it was just like
you never got to that point?
No, it wasn't until like I got busted, and then like I got put on probation, and that's where like it started like to grip me.
You got arrested for having drugs?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't go to jail then?
I did, but like because it was like my first like serious offense, and then I was able to get it down like to misdemeanors instead of felonies.
Would you get pulled over?
I got set up.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the weirdest situation ever, but like, yeah, I got set up. There was always this feeling inside, man, like that, like right before I would do something wrong, I would get this feeling inside, whether it was coming from my heart or what, my gut. I mean, but like, it was just like, I went into this, I knew the price was too good to be true.
yeah.
I was looking at him, but in my head, that's where like my
Your
disease,
mind is. You're
my
like,
desire,
it's a quick flip.
yeah, disease of addiction lives. You know, that's where like the disease of addiction gets everybody. Any addict is up there in their head. You know.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, quick flip, make some good money, and I'd be able to support my own habit.
Yeah.
You know. Like I broke the cardinal rule from the gate.
Yeah.
Don't get high on your own supply.
Tony Montana was.
And I don't know how I lasted so long doing that.
Like, how much were you doing a day?
There was times where I'd do like 3 or 4 OC80s in one line.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was like stuff that would probably
Kill people.
Yep.
And did you ever have like any scares like that? Like were you overdosed and shit like that?
no, I didn't. Like
And were people dying around you like at this period of time?
Yeah. I mean, today it's even like
I know, I get it. Yeah. Like today you see people, I just had a friend that I seen on, you know, we were in a crib together.
Yeah.
And he got taken out the other day and it,
sorry to hear that.
it's all right. I mean, it's all right. Me and him, like we're always just like, anytime we saw each other, we didn't keep in close contact, but like anytime we saw each other, it was always just like, you know, like it was like, what's up, dude? How are you? Like, how's everything? And it's like, it's such a shame because, you know, a lot of like my thought about this now later in life, it really like makes me feel emotional because of like the way that I thought about things whenever I was like 20, 21, and I always just go back to thinking about my cousin because that's the closest it's ever hit to me.
Yeah.
You know, she is, you know, I thought about asking her to like come on here and talk to me about it because like, for 10 years, she was just like hooked on dope. And, you know, it was just like, I don't know. I feel like such like terrible, like regret that like I wasn't someone that was doing anything positive to like help. I was just being even worse, you know, saying like, you know, you're shitty, like, you know, that's shitty, you're doing that.
Yeah, but that's, I mean,
I get it. Like I get, and
that's where you were at.
I know. And like and I've talked to her about this because like for 10 years before she got out of jail, it's like, we didn't talk, you know, like she was just, you know, she was lost in the abyss and, you know, she knows it and I know it and like we both know it. But like whenever she got out of jail, it's like, you know, to be able to talk to her and like, have her look me in the eye and like really just like be like in a conversation. It like makes me emotional to think about it because I'm someone who's very transparent. I own up to all the shit that I do. And, that's the first thing I said to her was like, you know, I'm just like so sorry that I was the way that I was, but it was like, you know, I was just young, dude. I was young and I was uneducated about things. And, you know, I thought it was always just like, you know, you fucking did this in the beginning. You like everyone I would always say like, you know, you were in health class, you knew what you were doing. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do it? You're an idiot about it. Yeah. But it's like so much more than that. And now I understand that. And like, it eats at me. It really does. Yeah. But it's like so many people I see, you know, struggling, and it's just like it's so crazy because it's people that like, you know, it's not like someone that you see in a movie where it's so far removed. It's like people that are like around you and you're just like, damn, this is like real shit that's happening.
Yeah. I know completely, man.
I mean, I know
it's been since I've been clean, like, no, obviously like one of my turning points is like, maybe I have a problem is like, and unfortunately it happened this way, but like one of my good friends, like we were at a party. It was before I knew I was like physically, in the grips.
Yeah.
Like my addiction was like playing that physical toll on me. And he was doing well. He like just had, twins and he had a son too, and we were at a party, and like he was like, you don't like my coping skills. That's what it was. It came down to like my coping skills was like when he was like venting to me about his struggles, and like he's like, you don't get sick from not having pills, and I was like, no. And then I was just like, he was all like messed up about something that he had a fight with someone close to him, and I was like, here, we'll just go to this party, we'll get messed up, you know, we'll get really drunk, you know, and just take our minds off of it.
Yeah.
And I remember like dropping him off, and I remember 4 hours later I got a call like that he shot himself, you know, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and like for years I carried that guilt, like that was like I should have stayed or something, you know.
Yeah.
But like that's like partly when my addiction gravitated. I started not really caring, you know, and like what it all came down to is that I lacked any healthy coping skills. My coping skills was to put a substance in me that took me out of those feelings that I was feeling. Like I had a whole bunch from my childhood all the way to that point. Like I had a whole bunch of post-traumatic stress that I didn't know how to deal with. You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to deal with it. Well, I did know how to deal with it.
But you just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I covered it up with any substance I could.
Yeah.
You know, and then since I've gotten clean, like it's just like I know there was people dying around me then.
Yeah.
But since I've gotten clean in the past 10 years, dude, like I've buried so many people. Dude.
I know. I always see you post about it, and it's like it's heartbreaking because like, you know, I'm not even in like the world of recovery. So it's just the people that I see, and it's a lot. This is just like the people in the, you know, the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon that I know. But it's like to be in that world of recovery, you know, you have to see so many more. And it's such like I don't know. It's, I feel like, you know, another reason of me wanting to like talk to you about this is like, I feel like that, I have so much like, you know, not really regretting, so to speak, but it's like, I want to like, kind of like, you know, help people understand it in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To like kind of be able to like, I don't know, not really like sympathize, but like, I don't know how
Practice empathy,
like practice empathy towards it, because like I had none of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had none of it, and it really does eat at me. Like it really messes with me, because it's like, you know, she could have been gone at any moment, and I could have just like, you know, the last thing I would have been is just like a fucking asshole. And it's just because I had no empathy about it. And me being, you know, 30 now, it's like, I can't even imagine some of the shit that like the way I thought about things whenever I was like 21, you know, 22, 23, and like the mindset I was in. It was just like, you know, I don't know. It was just so weird to think about that.
Yeah. And a lot of people like that are in your shoes, like, don't know how to deal with like an addict or an alcoholic. You know? Because they like don't understand like the grips, the hold that it has on that person, and like that that treatment is like definitely needed, you know, in that source. Like if I would have did my whole sentence at the Allegheny County Jail.
How long was the sentence?
So like I was down between there and the program I went to, it was 11 months.
11 months.
And if I would have did my whole stint down at the jail, I probably would have got out and did the same shit.
Yeah.
Because there was like, jail was like that school that I was sent to when I was a teenager.
Yeah, with people you idolize, kind of.
Yeah, people, like you put all the same type of people together, so there's like no glimpses of hope.
Yeah, it's like, like I can't even imagine that. There's no sort of
there's like, oh, here's a new connection.
Yeah.
Or here's a new connect to make some money
I didn't
illegally.
even think about that.
You know, and then you have all these like, it's just like, and there's no, at that time, I don't know what they're doing down there. I know like they stopped like meetings coming in and stuff, but like,
yeah.
But like at that time, there wasn't much to do but they would play cards or like the war story.
Yeah.
Or talk about what you're gonna do when you get out. You know, like so like when I was down there, I had this like sense like I don't want to live like this anymore. But there was no hope. You know?
Yeah. So in prison, like, if you come in addicted to drugs in prison, is like, what is like the process of dealing with? Do they just throw you in a cell and let you just fucking, wring yourself
they
out?
might give you some sleep meds or something, but there's no taper. Yeah,
you're not like going to like the medic and getting like Suboxone to wean off or anything.
Nope.
Wow.
So like that's so when Oxy started getting like becoming not crushable and sniffable and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They released Opanas.
Yeah, Opanas.
Opanas destroyed me, dude. Like,
yeah, I knew people who messed around with them too.
Yeah, I became like, I lost everything, dude, because of that pill. You know, like I became everything that I said I wasn't gonna do. Like that's where Opanas took me, dude. Like because like I remember just being so hopeless, dude. Like
yeah,
and I remember I like right one of the wake up calls before I went to jail was like I put myself another time where like that feeling I got in my heart,
yeah,
and I ignored it and I followed my head,
yeah,
and I met this dude. And it was like this shady location, and like I met him before, but like he always came through with what he said he was gonna have. But he was acting weird this time, and I was getting that feeling like maybe you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
But I went because like I was like I'm gonna be sick if I don't go.
What would happen to you? You're like puking like.
Oh, dude, it was in my bones then. It was just like it's like restless legs, not being able to relax one bit, like. Puking both ends, like
so it's like basically once it gets a hold of you, like if you don't keep it going, you're gonna go through hell. And that's why people want that's also a factor why people just keep going back to it, is because they don't want to deal with that hell, because it got to the point where I wasn't even getting high anymore. It was just to keep you from being sick,
just to keep me functioning.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was just like.
So this dude was going to give you, like he had the way to get these?
he said he did. So I go down and I meet him at this location. It's in this alleyway, and I had like this increment. Like I was like, Matt, get the fuck out of here, like. But then like I didn't, and like I remember I went to go hand him the money. And like I didn't have the whole money there, like I already stashed the other half just in case like it popped off.
Yeah.
But, like, I went to hand him the money, and the next thing you know, he backs up and this dude pops out the cut, puts a gun to my chest. But like what was so sick about the way I thought back then is like when he put that gun to my chest, like I was like, I'm not being sick. So I was like, I immediately punched him.
The guy that was holding the gun.
Yeah, I punched him. I had no gun on me, right?
Yeah.
I punched him, and like I didn't know at that moment that he didn't have the heart to pull the trigger, or
you don't know.
But like the thing is that I was willing to lay my life on the line because I didn't want to be sick.
Yeah.
And it was just like
that's heavy.
Yeah, and then
how the hell did you get out of the situation?
They jumped me. They took the money out of my hand.
Yeah.
And then like there was a dude waiting in the car. He didn't even get out the car. He just watched me. He came with me. He just watched me. And like part of the money was here, and I still had most of it in my back pocket, but it was just like.
Yeah, like that's a crazy moment in life.
Yeah. There was a lot of those, dude.
I bet. I mean, like for you to just have a couple of, examples, like that's probably like every day.
Yeah, there was a lot of times, dude. There was a lot of times like just not with the train that like it always had to do with drugs or alcohol or the lifestyle where like I could have been killed.
Yeah.
Like whether it was like my buddy drunk driving on Grandview, ricocheting off the overlook wall.
Yeah.
Or like being shot at, like, like just like situations like that, because it was just like, it was so senseless, man. And it's just like, I didn't realize that until I got clean.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how insane and like pointless my life was. You know, like I knew that like deep down I was meant for better things, you know?
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't until like I got released to that program, and it was like a program that was still under correctional facilities, but there was a whole treatment team there that were in recovery.
Did you make the decision to go, or did they obligate you to go?
No, so my judge and my PO, along with the lawyer I had, signed off for me to do the rest of my term there.
How long was that?
That was a 6-month program there.
6-month program. So like at that period of time, you know, I know that people will say like, you know, you have to be ready. You know, at that period of time, were you ready, or did you think I was just going to go down there and see what? Did you ever have any recovery before that? Like besides
Just-
for them couple meetings?
Just briefly when I was a teenager, but one of the things that I remember most, like when I was leaving the jail, is that one of the jail guards was like, he looked at me. It was me and 3 other dudes, and we were getting carted off to this program.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at us, and was like, "I'll see you guys back here soon."
Wow.
And I was just like, "The fuck you will, dude." You know, I was like, "No, I'm done, man."
Yeah.
I was like, there was like a good month that I had a cell by myself.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just sitting there thinking, and at that point, like, I didn't know, like, I was raised Catholic, but I wasn't practicing Catholic for years.
Yeah.
But I was just praying to the power greater than myself.
Yeah.
And saying, and I was doing prayers of gratitude because I know how lucky and fortunate I was to still be alive, even though I was behind bars.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, at that point, like I started doing that. They used to watch me run around the pod. There was like, no one like really exercised on the pod. I mean,
Yeah.
we had some people playing ball sometimes, but I would just run circles around the pod or go out in the basketball court and run circles. And like, I had like these jail shoes on. They're flat, like flat sole, and my feet would hurt, but I would just run circles because like, I was just like, I wanted something different. So I just was like doing different things.
Yeah.
You know, and when I went to that program, that 6-month program, I just became open-minded, dude. Like I swallowed it wasn't even pride, dude. It was false pride and false ego because like for years I was telling myself a lie that like I was doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I started listening to these people that ran this program who were in recovery, and sometimes I would like be like, "Well, what about this?" And some of them would be like, "Shut up, Matt, you don't know shit."
Yeah.
You know, and I'd be like, "You know what? You're right." And it just started like with change in little things, man. Like you know, and I just, one of the biggest things was just like surrendering that like I'm an addict and maybe I should try something different. And like this way seems to work for all these other, because there was these people in this program running this program had master's degrees and they're therapists and they have these careers and like they were like
At one point, low.
crackheads in Washington DC, you know, like, or just like up in the Hill District. Like it was just like crazy to hear their stories and then to hear them
And like see the result of someone who, you know, was walking beside you through that hell for a long time.
Yeah.
Like it was a possibility to get there at one point.
Yeah, I didn't have any of those hope shots when I was down at the jail, you know.
Yeah.
But then I was able to see these hope shots. And one of the major things that like when I got out, it was right around Thanksgiving, and on Thanksgiving night, they had 4 speakers come in from a 12-step program, and they did like a speaker jam. Mm-hmm. And a speaker jam is when like they tell their stories.
Yeah.
So you had these 4 gentlemen, and this is where my mind opened up. And you had these 4 gentlemen, and they're telling their stories at dinner time on Thanksgiving. And I was like, and I was sitting there listening, and they had some extravagant like stories, like work with big organizations in the Pittsburgh area, you know, like one of them worked for the Pirates, you know. It was just like crazy to hear these stories. But like what really changed my mind about like, oh, this could work for me is like these dudes really took time out from their families to come speak to some knuckleheads like me.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was like, damn, this must really mean a lot to them for them to do this.
Yeah.
And it was like every Wednesday, dude, they would bring in a meeting, and it would be someone from the outside, and then there was people that were in that program, you know, and then there were success stories, and you know they had this structure there that I was just like, and they had like this billboard. It was like a recovery for the Hard Knocks, you know, like it was like the school of the Hard Knocks. It was like, let's jam this down their throats. Now, granted, like a lot of those people that were in there, a lot of them are dead or back in jail and like, or haven't stayed clean. Like there's only one other dude that has stayed clean that whole time with me out of like 100 people that passed through there.
Yeah.
But I remember like we played the Packers in the Super Bowl that year. I remember like, it was just like little decisions like that. And I was like, I was in this facility, but there was a chance that I could sneak out with some other members or some other residents to go over to Southside for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I was going to, but then I was like, I have to change everything, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's like, you gotta, you know, obviously your whole life was, you were moving one way.
Yeah.
Got to do everything different.
I had to, if I wanted to live right, I had to do right. And like at that time, being like a rule abiding resident was doing right.
Yeah. Yeah. That, so, I mean, like your mindset in there to have these people speaking to you and, you know, kind of showing the possibilities of things, like, you know, that just like immediately like resonated in you. Like, do you feel like that there was like, I don't know. I feel like that like I don't know any statistics, but I feel like people go into recovery and then they come out and then, you know, it kind of happens all over again.
It's a revolving door. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, did you feel something inside of you, you know, want to, you know, change fully and like,
yeah, man, it was that pain, dude.
Yeah.
It was those situations that I put myself in where I was ready to die for something that was destroying me.
Well, why do you think it resonated so, you know, so much with you, and like, you know, so many people still struggle with that, you know, because there's people that, you know, I know some of the struggles that people deal with, and it seems like it's enough to, you know, change their whole world, but, you know, it's like the grips of that addiction is still too strong and too, you know, too much for them to, you know, keep down that path.
Yeah. So I think what it was like there was three things that played a part, like in me. It was like being honest with myself.
Yeah.
And being like, I cannot use successfully. I cannot drink successfully.
Yeah.
I can't do anything mind altering because like I know where it takes me.
So you like, you made that rule in your mind, like you knew, like you. Well,
no, I was listening to what these
okay,
these therapists.
Okay. Yeah.
Like when I was down to jail, there was a little bit that was instilled in me when I was 15 years old at those meetings.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, all right. But like when I got to this program, I was like, all right, so I have to get honest with myself. I have to be willing to do what it takes to stay clean, which is like changing people, places, and things. Like my ex, who just recently passed this year, when I called her from the jail, and I was like, "Hey, babe, I think I'm going to be here for a while. Is there any money? Is there any way you can put money on my books? Because like if you don't have money, like money on your books down there, it's treacherous, dude.
Yeah."
Because they feed you like not a lot, you know, and it's, you know, like, but her reply to me was, "Can I call you back?"
Really?
And I was just like, that was like one of the first things. I was just like, yeah, go ahead, give me a ring. Meanwhile, it's fucking jail. You can't call a jail phone.
Was she struggling too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
but then like I thought, because like I had all these friends, you know, I thought I had all these friends, but like the phone was dead.
Yeah.
No one was answering my phone calls.
Yeah.
You know,
so they were more of just an acquaintance that was.
I was a ways and means, because I was the plug. You know,
Yeah.
I was sociable, and that was like how I knew everybody, and that was how I was able to survive, because like I knew a bunch of people. You know.
Yeah.
But then like, so that was like me like being like, okay, like there's nothing out there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the willingness, like I changed people, places, and things. I stopped, like I got rid of my old phone, you know, like, and like in that facility, I wasn't allowed to have a phone.
Yeah.
But like I didn't even want my mom to bring the phone down, you know, like so I could get my numbers out of it.
Yeah, you didn't even want it. You just started over from there.
Yeah. So then I had to be open-minded. Like I had to practice open-mindedness when it came to like anything, dude. Because
were you a stubborn person though?
Well, I wasn't stubborn. It was just I definitely was stubborn, dude. Yeah. I'm sorry. I would definitely, let me take that back. I was a stubborn person, but I also like, I feel like I stunted my maturing because I started using it at such an early age.
Yeah. Like
some type of substance, whether it be alcohol or weed or any, and I stopped myself from maturing. So I was like this 28-year-old teenager.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to learn how to live again. Like no matter, like I like my life was like,
because you have all them years of you that it was like you're halfway there.
Yeah.
That you know the formidable years that people are like learning their lives.
Yeah.
Yours is kind of held up in the same spot. You're like stuck in a bad time.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't have those years that you're talking about until I was able to get clean.
Wow.
You know, and then I was like, oh, well, now I'm clean. I could do anything that I want.
Yeah.
You know, and I have this, just to answer your question, dude, I feel like I was fortunate to have that open-mindedness.
Yeah.
To realize that like I needed something outside of myself and not use my thinking, because my thinking jams me up. Yeah. So I started listening to these therapists, and I started listening to these speakers that came in from these programs. And then when I was able to go and get a job, that was all I was allowed to do. I was able to go to a job, or I was able to go to a meeting. Like there were some judges that signed off on home passes or leisure passes or shopping passes. I got none of this. It was either go to work or go to meetings. So what I started doing is I started going to work. I got a job up at a restaurant on Grandview Avenue. Mm-hmm. First front of the house person to get hired from a halfway house. You know, it was just like I had that going for me at that time, and I was just like, I'd come back to the program with a bow tie on, and they'd be like, "Look at Matt, man, think he's all fancy." I'm in there with like these hardened criminals, but yeah, and then I went to meetings, and then the way I grew up, like obviously, like most of my friends were addicts, and some of them got clean. Yeah, so I was able to go to a meeting where I seen some of my friends that were clean.
Yeah. Do you feel that having those people that were like, do you think that was like something that was like a positive for you, that it was someone that you grew up with and you could relate to, that was like in the same struggle with you, like trying to make it through, like you guys like worked on each other?
Yeah, for sure, man. And what one of the positives from that is that like, because like I still had, like it wasn't like I got clean and then I just started thinking straight.
No, I get it.
But like I had, at that time I had this mentality, like if you wasn't from my neighborhood or part of my crew, I wasn't talking to you, Yeah. So I was able to grasp onto these people that I knew that were part of my crew,
that makes
part
sense.
of my neighborhood. And then like slowly, like the process the journey started, you know, like the diving into like what it comes down to is like I had to dive into myself and do work and be like, why do I act this way? Why did I do this? What parts of my past do I gotta revisit and look at my part in it and look at someone else's part, you know?
Yeah.
And then I started like looking at my defects of character and my assets that I had. And then like I started like making amends for stuff that I did in the past. And like it was just like this, it's been a journey, man. And like it's not finished. Like,
yeah.
I still have to do daily work to get a daily reprieve. Like like there's times like with friends that I buried, dude. Yeah. Like close friends or someone that's like I was helping sponsor, you know, like and like it will crush me, dude. And it's just like, oh, I got to fucking deal with these feelings without a substance. Yeah. You know?
And that's probably so hard to do.
Yeah, man. And like, or where I went through a breakup in my recovery, you know? Yeah. Like that was painful.
It's probably so easy to go back to that and just like kind of ignore the feelings. But you know, it's like, but it's courageous to be able to, you know, stand in front of that and, you know, pump your chest out and like want to walk through that. And you know what you're about to do. You know that it's going to suck. You know it's going to feel that way, but there's something inside of your mind that's like, you know, that it needs to happen like this. That's like that's a powerful thing to think about because
for sure.
If you're someone who's so accustomed to a lifestyle for so long, you know, it's probably just so easy to fall back into it. And I always like hear people, whether it be on like, you know, I listen to Theo Vaughn's podcast a lot, and it's like he always talks about like, you know, recovery, and like so many other comedians talk about recovery and like how, you know, they'll be sober for 20 years, but they still go to meetings all the time because it's always something that, I don't know. It's just like you have to keep working on yourself, and
man,
you know,
it's a lifelong journey, man. And like what it gave, what recovery gave to me was like an outlet to be able to deal with life on life's terms. Yeah, you know, and to be able to have real friends, you know, like not friends that are like just like my friend because
you have
I have something for
the things that they want.
Yeah, no, there's like legit people.
They care about you.
They care about me.
Yeah.
You know? And like when my fiance and I had like a miscarriage, dude, like that was.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That was detrimental, dude.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it was just like, and there was a point there where I was just like in this like mode of self-obsession, and that's a terrible mode for like an addict to be, where it's like I'm surrounded by fear and anger and resentments, you know, like, and I remember just like looking on Facebook and just seeing like people that were still in active addiction having a kid, you know, and I was like, why me, you know, and I just went into this little self isolation, and that's a terrible spot for an addict to be, is that house, but I have a sponsee brother. It's like a family. Yeah. There's like a sponsor, and I'm a sponsee, and then who else he sponsors, and then I sponsor people, and it's just like this one big family. Yeah. But I had this sponsee brother that was fucking calling me nonstop. I guess like he heard that what happened, and like it got to the point where like it was just like nonstop, to the point where I answered, and like that's what I needed, you know, and like. I was picking up, what was it? 6 years. I was picking up a key tag for 6 years. And it was my last day picking up. And that's the morning that I found out that we lost a baby. And like, I didn't want to pick up my key tag, you know? And it was like my sponsee brother and my sponsor were like, you got to go up there, man. Because someone got to hear what you're going through, because you might be able to help someone. Wow. You know? And I went up there, dude. And I don't cry, dude. Like, I don't cry. Well, I'm not going to say I don't cry. Like, but like, I'm not one to cry. Like, and that's something I got to work with myself, because it's good to cry.
I cry all the time. I love it.
But like, I got to work on that, because like, it's freeing. Yeah. but I cried like a child up there, dude.
So this was 5 years ago this happened? About. Because if you're about to be 11 years, so you're about...
So 2017.
So
yeah.
So if you're into recovery for about 6 years, that's, you never had relapses or anything like that. Now, for you to have like that moment of being like that far into recovery, like, was there like thoughts in your mind, like, I might, go back to, like, did you?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's always something that you're struggling with, like, in those moments.
Like, it depends how would I put this? How spiritually fit I am.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm doing to prevent that. Like, how, like, am I doing what I need to do? Am I talking to the people in my support group? Am I going to meetings regularly? Am I having a connection with a power greater than myself? My understanding.
Yeah.
Like, am I doing these things that I need to do? Like, there's sometimes like where I'm a dad now. I'm a self entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'm not able to make a meeting, and then sometimes like I'm just like I have these like I'll see like water, like condensation dripping down a glass of beer. And then I start reminiscing, especially during football season, because like my
cold
family,
beer and shit like that.
My family, like they're all
you live
Irish.
in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
so
they're
it's
all
like
Irish.
if you're not drinking, you're fucking weird almost.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I see that, and then I start salivating.
Yeah,
like I didn't have all these fucking cold beers that you guys have now, all these craft beers.
I don't drink it anyway, but I get it. Yeah, there's so much out there,
and I'm just like, oh, that looks tasty. Yeah. And then, but like because like I've done some work on myself, that's like a red flag. It's like, okay, now I got to do something, now
check yourself.
I either got to tell someone that I thought this, or or I have to go to a meeting and share about it,
Now, can I ask you a question that you might not even be able to answer it? It's like, I always hear people talk about, whether it be Mark Maron, he's like someone that I strive to be like. Do you ever listen to his podcast?
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
So, I mean, like, it's incredible to hear his vulnerability from someone who is kind of out of that world, but he always talks about how, like, you're not really supposed to talk about like the 12-step program. What is that? Like, I never understood that.
Yeah. So
you don't have to answer it either if you don't want to.
Yeah. I don't, this is my view.
Yeah.
This is not anyone else's view.
I get
like,
that.
I feel like that was prevalent like in those times. You know what I'm saying? But like, I know from, and this is not out of ego, I know from my standpoint that me sharing my experience on social media, I'm not mentioning in any program,
Yeah.
But by me sharing my experience, like I know people that are clean now because they seen that like, oh shit, if Matt can do it,
yeah,
maybe I can.
That's why I don't understand why it's
but like it's just like there's some things that like there's some like they call they're like there's something. Let me see how I could word this. I feel like it's a different time, like especially like with how many people are dying, dude. Like and like how society itself is more open-minded to mental health issues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I get it. They don't want to be tied to like, say like I'm quoting literature from a program and I'm like this, I'm trying to act like this spokesperson.
Yeah.
And then I relapse.
Oh, I get it now.
Let's say like, and I'm representing this program.
You don't want to ever put the fault on that program.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you want that to be open, like now that's why I say I'm in recovery, like, because like
that makes sense.
I don't want to, And like you've seen, what's the British dude's name? Comedian from Get 'Em to the Greek.
Aldous Snow.
Yeah,
but I can't remember his real name. But Aldous Snow.
But like he says,
Russell Brand. That's it.
Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of people that say they're in recovery.
Yeah.
And instead of saying that they're in their program, like Marin does too.
Well, that was like my, that sparked my curiosity, because I always thought, like, why not speak about this because of the success that it's brought you? It's like, it's helped you out of such a dark place. Like, why wouldn't you want to scream it from the mountaintops? But the way your reservations about like how people think about the reservations, you don't want to like put that drop of ink in that bucket of clear water, because once it's in there, it's like that 12-step program didn't work for them. Like, it's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like,
it's kind of like it ties into like how like you didn't have empathy. Remember how you didn't have empathy?
Yeah.
It's like, so like the public's view on things, like a lot of people don't have empathy for addicts.
Yeah.
Still,
Oh, I know. It's crazy to me now.
And like, and then you have like these, you don't want to put these, like, it's just like a thing you got to tread lightly on, because like you don't want a sick and suffering addict to be turned away from going there.
Yeah.
Because of the social perception of that.
Yeah. And that makes more sense to me now, the way you said it. It's like, you almost like you leave it out because, it's almost like don't ask, don't tell. It's like, leave that name out of it so you can't put a negative connotation to it.
Now, granted, like, it doesn't mean like if you reach out to me and jump in my inbox and be like, hey, Matt, like, I'm curious, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Like, I could point you in the right direction.
No, I get what you mean, though. But if you're like someone that's always talking about like, oh, I'm in this step on the 12-step program, and like, you keep preaching it, but and if people see it not working for you, you're like, it might bring like a negative thought to that. So I get what you're saying with it. That definitely makes more sense than what I thought about before. Cause like, I was just always curious why it wasn't like something that was more like, talked about, but I get why it's not, though.
Yeah. And social media, like my like era of recovering addicts, like social media opened up this whole new floodgate of like being open about being in recovery.
Absolutely. It's a live journal that you could really pour yourself, your heart and soul into if you choose to do so.
Yeah.
But it's like the older people, I don't know. I think everything in life needs to be updated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's always updates, medical updates, you know, anything like that. Everything needs to be, updated because things are always just advancing and progressing. So like, back then it's like parents' age and stuff like that. It was such like a foreign concept to like put your feelings out on social media. Yeah. It's like, it was always taught like a man, don't cry, like be, you got to be a man, get a job, work hard, all that stuff. But now social media is a double-edged sword. It's a blessing and a curse, and it often does more harm than it does good. But, like you said, if someone could see what you put, your vulnerability, your emotion, your heart and soul into how you feel about things, that could help someone. That could be the movement that the person needs, that like, they knew you at a different period of time, whoever you used to be, and who you are now. It's like, that could be that like little bit of a push that someone might need to want to start down that path.
Yeah. And that's my hopes. Like, that's my hopes when I share that intimate stuff about myself, like a lot of times I don't want to, I don't want to share that. I don't want to get that deep. But like, the thing is like in my mind frame, it's not about me,
Yeah.
It's about maybe being that status that can change someone's perception and be like, well, if this worked for them, and don't get me wrong, like not everybody's intentions, like with all things in life, not just in recovery, with all things, especially on social media, not everybody's intentions are good.
Yeah. I get it. I get it.
But like, there's probably some people that think like, I'm full of shit, you know? Like,
yeah. Oh, he's doing it for likes. But like, as a civilian in this world, I don't get that at all. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to talk to you, is because like, I feel, a genuine, I just feel whenever you write your stuff in there, I don't think that this person is, he's just trying to get attention and like, he just needs to like feed an ego. It's like, I really feel that like you put it on there for positive things. And like, I see, and I closely follow people, dude. Like I follow people, what they do in life. I think we've been following on social media. We've been following each other for, over a year now, I think probably. Yeah. And it's like, I see like Wyatt Ikatis is someone that I grew up with. Like we went to school together, and I saw that like you've shared him before. And it's just like, like I see things that you post and nothing I've never gotten a negative feeling from what you post. Like, and I'm just someone that's not in that world, but, from my point of view, I don't see that. Like I see a benefit from it, but I mean, that's just one way to see it.
That means a lot. Like coming from someone like you, like, I mean, and that's what I push for, dude. It's like, I want to spread positivity, like, it doesn't mean that I don't have bad days, but like the thing is I don't want to put bad things onto my social media, because I'd rather put positive things, because that's what keeps me grateful. Yeah. And wanting to do and continue on this journey. It's an attitude of gratitude, like, and like, yeah, if it's someone celebrating clean time and I know them and in my circle, I'll share their clean time, like, yeah, that's a
positive thing.
Yeah. It's like, and then if someone sees that, like you've seen it, you're like, oh damn, that's awesome. Like, it's just,
it is like, awesome. And it's like, it's awesome to see, because like, and I feel like it wouldn't be as impactful as it is now if I didn't have that, like, little bit of experience, touching my family. But it's like, I think about, how, I'm just like I'm part of one story. But if you go out and you like look in any neighborhood, all those houses have whole stories in them houses. Yeah. So it's like, if something touched me in a way, I'm sure that like someone, everyone knows someone that's been, affected by someone who fell into addiction.
Absolutely.
Like it's such like and that's so scary to think about, that it's so like, it's such a common thing now.
So prevalent these days.
Yeah. It's so prevalent these days. And it's so weird that it's like, and I mean, maybe back in our like parents' age and stuff like that, it's like, you don't know about it, because like, unless you're like actively talking to people and keeping tabs on people, you don't really know. But nowadays it's social media. Like if someone passes away, that's how I found out like one of my friends like passed away, is just through Facebook. And it's like, it's a shame that we have to find out like that, but that's just the way it is. We have to like use that ability for positive, rather than just like all the, other 99% of the garbage you see on Facebook. Yeah. But I definitely feel that like it's positive through you. I appreciate, someone like you who wants to be open about it, because like these are your darkest times in your life, I assume. And, it's obviously, it's not like you wanting to like want to revisit them all the time, I'm sure, because I'm sure it's hard on you to do so. But, that's how I feel like, that's how I see it. I don't see it as like a, almost like a, a trap for likes and like empathy from other people. I see it as like you, like, going through and like, dealing with this again to try to like help someone else out that might be in that, might have been in the same shoes you were so many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes like people will see my posts. I had a family member, like who's been clean for 8 years, because like I started posting about this stuff, like, and
that's
like
fantastic.
Yeah, maybe I was like, so maybe like when I started posting early on in my recovery, I was a bit more reckless. Yeah, like, but now that like I've done that work on myself and I know what boundaries like I need to obtain, and like now like I feel like and that's the thing, that's like it's a constant like tightrope walk. Like am I am I like, is this a good post, you know, and or is this out of, like, I have to be aware, like, am I posting this out of ego, or am I posting this like to help someone, you know?
I mean, that's incredible that you could, you know, that you recognize that and that you could, you know, separate yourself from like, oh, this is just a post for my ego or not. Like that's what, you know, is kind of reflective of like the work you did on yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty,
like, and then granted,
incredible.
I'm a goofy dude. Like a lot of things, like I was telling you, like when I used to perform at the Improv, like a lot of my set was about the pain that I went through.
Yeah.
But I turned that into like jokes, you know, like, because that was like,
that's a lot of comedians.
That part of my coping skills, you know, like I remember seeing like Richard Pryor talk about like freebase and cocaine.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
You know, like, and just be like
talking about like, he talked about, you know, doing wild shit for drugs. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that was part of why he was so great is because, you know, like, he was so vulnerable. Like he was always someone that would like, he never left any skeletons in the closet. He always just like danced around with them on stage.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, he talked about like, I remember listening to a thing. He was like, you know, it's crazy whenever you like, I ain't even butchering what he said, but like, it was just like, you know, wild to me because, you know, back in the 70s, oh no, he said something. He was like, you know, you ever been down so bad you like suck dick for coke or something like that? And it's like, think about that time period of the 70s and who he was. Yeah. You know, it wasn't looked upon like, you know, now we're obviously in a different time in life, but like back in the 70s, like that was like frowned upon to be like a homosexual was like, you know, if anything, that would like destroy his career. Mm-hmm. But because he, you know, embraced everything and just like
brutal honesty.
Yeah, it's brutal honesty. No one could hold that above him because like he's doing it himself. And it's like, that's why like he was so great is because like he never gave a shit about anything. And like, he always just like, you know, he lived his truth. And that's why I've always like respected the way he was. Like he was always very raw. And like, you know, I love that because it's funny. Like the raw shit is funny, but like, you felt that pain in like what he talked about. Yeah. And it's interesting though. It's interesting, you know, how that comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm hesitant to share some stuff sometimes because like, I don't want people's perception of me, but like to be like set on my past experience.
Yeah.
But now being where I'm at today, it's just like, I don't care if they judge me, you know, because like I am not that person anymore.
Yeah.
Like you could judge me on my past, but that's your shit.
Yeah.
You know, like today I'm doing things like to be a productive member of society and I'm making sure I'm kind to people and like I pay it forward and I'm a great dad and a great fiance and, you know, like, and I'm not boosting myself up here, but like this is things that I strive to do.
Yeah.
Every day, you know, like, and it's like, I strive to give people compliments or say like nice things to people, you know, and like, granted, I have moments, I'm human.
Yeah. Everyone is.
And like, I can be a bit brutally honest when it comes to like people in my group, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do for like their recovery, you know, like
I think that's important though.
Sometimes, but like sometimes I just have to be more loving and caring.
Yeah.
But then I have that fear, which is like, like it's natural to have that fear, but I have that fear like because I buried so many people. Yeah. That like, I'm just like, you need to fucking wake up and do what you need to do or you're going to die. Yeah. And I don't want to go to your funeral, you know, like, and it's just like, that's the harsh reality.
For sure.
You know, like, I mean.
Is that why, like, is that why you're so active? Like, so Boca, is that where you went?
No, Boca, I went, my process started through the correctional facilities.
And Boca is not that?
Boca is not that. I was introduced to Boca through Kalichi.
Oh, okay.
And Kalichi was working with them for a little bit. And Kalichi was like, I know a video guy. And then I started doing videos for Boca.
Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Like, and then me and Christopher Ferry, the owner of it, became like good friends.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, because like I'm in recovery and I do media stuff, he was like, this is a perfect fit, you know?
Yeah. Well, you seem to be like pretty active in, you know, the recovery world. And I'm sure that there's two ways of going about it. I'm sure that there's ways where people could like, you know, just go to meetings and, you know, do it for themselves and kind of stop at that. But there's people that kind of like embrace it and want to be in that world for other people, for the hope of other people. And I feel like that's kind of what you do. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's the goal. And like my ultimate goal is like to be a content creator again. And to not solely base my whole content on recovery.
Yeah.
But just on me being in recovery, yes, but also living this life that I never thought was possible.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy, like how my life is today, like how I like, obviously I haven't traveled much because of the pandemic, but like before that I was traveling New York City. I had clients like flying me out.
I see you're everywhere.
Filming, like, and like, I never thought that was possible.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of 4-block radius, dude. You know, like I was trapped.
Yeah.
I was like in this self-made prison from my addiction, you know, like, and my, just like my views on what my life could be was just so narrow, dude.
Yeah.
And then like I hit that wall, that desperate end, and went to jail. And I was just like, I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I have to change or I'm going to die. And then I came to that realization and I started doing all these things. And like, my life has been full, dude, since like I got clean.
Yeah.
Like I've owned a recovery house. I did that for a few years. And then I opened up Drip Lounge. I had 41 Tube, the channel, like where I was doing the comedy and hip hop stuff with my friends, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I had to close the shop down, Drip Lounge, because like we got hit with a state tax that like crushed us.
Yeah.
With the vape tax, you know, and that was our bread and butter. The entertainment side, like the whole thing, like why we put an entertainment venue on Warrington is because when I was growing up in Warrington, we didn't have that.
Yeah. And you wanted to be the person to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. And like, it was awesome, dude. People were like, I love that's up here, you know? And like,
what is a vape tax?
They hit us with a 40% wholesale tax. And then anything that was on our shelves, like I teamed up with a bunch of either like vape juice providers or like makers, and then vape shop owners, and we all went to Harrisburg to like try and stop this.
Wow,
this tax. And
that's
like,
crazy. I didn't know that was a thing.
It crushed vape shops.
I mean, I would never know. There's a fucking million of them everywhere
like
you look.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is like we weren't even open a year, and that year that like they hit us with the tax, we won best vape shop in the city in city paper.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, and
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that was like an awesome time because I'm friends with the Drinking Partners.
Yeah,
I'm friends with Dirty Art.
Yeah,
and like and Morris Jackson won that year, so all four of us were like
put something together.
We won like in our categories.
Yeah,
and it was just like awesome to see that, you know. But like, yeah, I went out of business that same year. This best vape shop of the year, and then gone vape shop of the year.
Wow.
Because of that tax, dude. And it was just like, but like, I didn't let that, like, I didn't look at that as like a failure. You know?
Yeah, it's just a chapter.
Yeah, I did it. I did it with a partner of mine too, which is like, he relapsed. He started getting high again.
Yeah.
You know, so he wasn't there. So it was just like a learning process for me.
Yeah.
And like, and I was back waiting tables. This is what, like right when we had the miscarriage, and I was waiting tables downtown, And like I knew Josh Lucas from Work Hard because like when I was at the vape shop, like I wasn't making money, dude. You know? I was just like getting by.
Yeah.
And Josh was there, and like I've been active with Work Hard Pittsburgh for years.
Yeah.
I met Josh through Buzzy of Epicast, and like I would go over, and Josh like helped me get my website together for my small business, and I was like, and he would have me do social media while I was working at my shop for Work Hard and Academy, which is the coding boot camp.
Yeah.
And I continued to do that even after and it wasn't much, like, but it was just like enough to get me by.
Yeah, just something extra to do.
But then I was in a bad spot. Like it was right after the miscarriage, and I closed my shop, and I was just like, okay, I'm back to waiting tables again.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not where I want to be. And I was like venting to Josh, and he was like, look, you have potential, Matt. Like you come here for 6 months every day before your serving shift. And I was like, I'll have you quitting your serving shift. I'll have you quitting your serving job, you know?
Yeah.
And I did that. I was like, all right. It was kind of like how I looked at the program of recovery.
Put in the work.
Yeah. And I just took that
and
applied it to my career now.
Wow.
And I just like dove in. And like before that, like I would shoot videos for like my hip hop friends, or I would shoot our comedy videos, you know, like, and like now I was working with some members of the team at Work Hard Pittsburgh. And then we formed WH Digital, which is the digital agency.
Yeah.
And we started doing like all this video stuff. And then I got these clients, like I got this client through one of the journalists that was at Work Hard Pittsburgh up in New York City. It's a Catholic organization, Paulus Fathers, and I was able to work with them, and they're still a client of mine. And then Kalichi blew up. Like he started getting all this grind, started touring, and then he introduced me to the Boca Recovery Center. So I got them as a client. And at that time, I'm doing all this stuff with Work Hard and Academy and WH Digital, and I'm working with all these nonprofits here in Pittsburgh, and it's just like
doing some positive stuff.
That's
like, amazing.
And it's just like, and I'm able to support my family, you know, like, and it's just like, it blows my mind, you know. It's just like, I'm just grateful, man. I love my life today, you know.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, dude. It's just like, and like the thing is
got
like,
me welling up. Fucking me up for a second, dude. Like that's incredible to hear, because like, you know, to just sit across the table from you and hear like where you are at one point, and you know, I know the reality of like what I know, and I'm just like so far removed from it. Like I can't imagine the reality that like you see. You know, people, the civilians don't see it through your eyes. Like I can't even imagine the shit that you've seen.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know it got to be fucked up. I know it got to be so hard. And I know that like, you know, dealing with things like a miscarriage and like breakups and everything like that, it's like, that's just like I don't know, the devil staring through a door that's like, you know, come with me. It's like, you know, that's the shit that I see.
Yeah.
But for you to like, you know, strive to be better and want to be like positive and shit, it's like, I don't know, it's incredible to hear, dude. For you to just say like, I don't even know what happened, like I love my life right now, is just like, I don't know, dude, it's motivating, because it's like, you know, I equate it to like, you know, just what I know, and I see like, you know, I see my cousin like thriving right now. She has a great relationship. She's working, you know, she's just doing so well. And it like, you know, I'll look at some of her posts and I'll just like, I'll get emotional thinking about it, because it's like, you know, I know that she could just be gone, you know, and I know that so many people have lost so many because they weren't able to make it out of the mud. But, you know, the few people that do make it out of the mud, you know, it's incredible to hear, and it's incredible to like see that that's a possibility, because, you know, I think she knows, and I know it's like, I expected to get that call one day,
yeah,
that she was going to be gone, because, you know, she she was deep in it.
And that's always, it could be a reality. Dude.
Yeah. And it could be a reality. And I know that it like breaks my heart for like, you know, like my buddy's parents and like my buddy's father who like I know, and it's just like, it's so heartbreaking because you know,
it's the worst, dude.
So many people that just like can't make it out of there. And it's like, you know, you have to bury your kid, and it's like, you know, I don't know, it tears me up to think about it, but it's like, I hope that people could listen to conversations like this, and, you know, whether they have a family member that's dealing with it or whether they're dealing with it themselves, or, you know, however it is affecting their lives, I hope that like they can get a positive out of this just through that one sole person's story that they're hearing right now.
Yeah.
Because it's incredible.
I mean, and that's how like the message was carried to me, dude, was from someone else, you know? And that's when I say open-mindedness is like you could be like, oh, I don't like that person. But like when I think that, I'd be like, but they may still say something that I need to hear.
I love that.
You know, like maybe I don't like that person, but that's my shit. You know? But they might say something and I might be like, oh, okay. You know, I'm not going to block off what they say. Yeah.
It's still got to be a sponge.
I'm going to remain open, you know, like, and one of the things that like, one of the most powerful things that was ever said to me is like my sponsor who ran that program that I was in. And then when I got out, I asked him to be my sponsor. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Matt, you just got to stay in position for the blessings. Mm. You know, and when you stay in position, it's like, for me, it's like, I was told like the God of your understanding lives in your heart. And this is the disease of addiction lives in your head, right? And when you follow your head, it will lock you up. But if you follow your heart, it will set you free. Mm. You know, and that's what, like, when I'm in that position, when I'm like, okay, Matt, I got to stay in position for a blessing, I follow my heart. And that's kind of like what I've been doing. So like when I share openly from the heart, that's like my way of following my heart. Like, okay, this is what I should say here, you know, like, and this is what I should do here. And this is like, and that's where like, I believe why I'm where I'm at is because I built a relationship with a power greater than myself of my understanding. And I was able to build this support group, and like I have all these tools now. Yeah,
tools in the toolbox to help get you through life.
Yeah, and it's just like, and like an extra bonus is like my sponsor is a therapist. Like, so
that's great.
He has his master's degree.
Yeah, so you got like, both things.
So I'm like double dipping in a way, you know?
Yeah. Now, I mean, do you go to therapy?
No, but like,
I mean, I'm sure that scratches.
No, so like recently, just because like I want to get better on like how I said I'm abrasive sometimes, like brutally honest. I feel like a lot of that stems from like past traumatic experiences. Yeah, that I've went through. Mm-hmm. So like I do want to go, but like doing it through Zoom right now isn't like the way I want to go about it. Cause like, I had to speak in Nashville on Zoom. Like I got asked to speak in Nashville at this recovery thing. And like, it's not the same as like when I'm standing in front of people.
You can't feel that energy.
Yeah. And it's just like when I was on the stage at the Improv, like I tell my first joke and then I get that laugh, you know, and then I'm just like, okay, let's go, you know, like
feel that energy.
And then, and when I open up and tell my story, like, and I see people's like, and I'm looking into their eyes and I'm like, okay, they're feeling this, you know, like, and I don't get that on.
You're not through that like filter of just a TV.
Yeah, man, like, standing in my bedroom at my standing desk.
My wife just had a job interview today. She walked down wearing like, it was a video interview, but like, you know, she has everything done and then she got some sweatpants on her. It's like, she got like a business top on.
Business up top, party down bottom.
That's what it is.
That's how Zoom's been this past.
And that's what she said. Year. She told them, she was like, it's kind of strange doing a job interview over Zoom. Yeah. But I don't know, dude, it's a wild year. I mean, like with COVID and everything, like, are you, I mean, like, has that raised any problems with you?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. but not just for the recovery community in general, dude, because like not all churches were allowing meetings.
Yeah.
So like, and just this past year, dude, so many people died, dude.
Yeah, probably because that they couldn't get to where they needed to be.
Yeah.
That's terrible to think about.
And
that.
like, yeah, there was like Zoom meetings, but like, it's not the same, dude. It's not, I mean, and like the whole world was affected, dude, you know, but like, yeah, it was a tough year. Like things are starting to open up more now, but it was definitely a tough year, especially if you were new.
Are you up to date on like statistics or shit? Like in a year, is this statistically like a worse year? I feel like I've read somewhere that because of people being isolated and shit, there was like more people that were, you know, like passing away because of addiction, like people relapsing and things like that. You think that that was a big factor because of like pandemic and shit like that, being locked in your home?
Yeah. I mean, as far as people passing away, like it's been pretty consistent my whole time clean.
Yeah.
Since 2010. Yeah, like I remember when I opened Drip Lounge, like three friends in 3 months, dude. My first 3 months open at Drip Lounge, like it was 3 close friends, dude. It was like bang, bang, bang. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah. So like, I mean, and I kind of become numb to it, dude, because like I have to, like my priority is raising my daughter, you know, taking care of my family. And I could grieve, but I have to keep it moving.
Yeah, like, you can't like let that burden like weigh you down.
Yeah, but like I will tell you, like this past year, like I don't know the statistics, but there was a lot.
Yeah,
not close people.
Yeah, but
to
like,
me, there was still a decent amount of people that I was close with that passed this year.
Yeah, I get it.
But like, I just seen it because I'm big in the recovery community on social media, and there was tons of people.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, it really is.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but like sometimes I get resentful when this is such a pressing issue in our country, but we never hear people high up talking about it. You don't hear a president campaigning on like, here, let's start to try and put an end to this.
Do you think that is because there's still like, so I mean, this is again, the only comparisons I have to anything are very, very crude comparisons. You know, older people just have a mindset that they're stuck in almost. And I get that, like, you know, we're in, 2021 and everything, but like these are still old fucking people that are living in a time that was different than the way that we came up. And like, that's like, it's almost like not a.
Yeah. I feel like, so I'm not going to single out just people in like drug addicts. I feel like our generation, like my generation, is a generation that like is starting to change around all the views.
Yeah.
Like sexuality, race,
mental health,
illness, like all that. Like, and yeah, like I feel like, I mean, there are some people in that generation that are like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. But there's some people that are just stuck in their ways.
Yeah, stuck in their ways. That's what I mean, dude. And it's understandable that's like, I mean, it's understandable in a big picture sort of world because, you can't expect everyone to just like completely rewrite the way that they were, raised.
Yeah.
But, in this world that we're in now, everything's more accepting, like people, of all, like you said, sexuality, mental health, back then, I feel like my parents' age, I never heard of a lot of people going to therapists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's like
more open thing.
Any podcast you listen to, BetterHelp or whatever these apps are or whatever, it's like a more common thing that you hear so many more people talking about. You hear so many more people like, advocating for, because it's like, it's such a positive for them. But like now in this world, we're in this world where people are like afraid, or not afraid. People are not afraid to like change and adapt. Like I said, like even anything you come up to, you have to progress.
Yeah.
Science, anything, it all gotta progress. And I think that the younger people are able to like, and obviously you can't call all old people lunatics, like some of them, but I don't know. I just feel like, the younger people are more accepting to be able to like.
There's a bit of closed-mindedness when it comes to like evolving.
Yeah.
Like us being in it and seeing like it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, it's a game changer,
Being open-minded about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like that's why like and then like there's some of the, like this they're called spiritual principles, and like I worked them in my recovery process. Like I learned them to use as tools, right? But then I read books from Deepak Chopra, and I'm like, this is the same thing.
Yeah, just in a different way of
and then I look at other self-help books. I'm like, oh, this is that. You know, like, and I'm just like, okay,
Wow.
And I'm just like, if the world practiced these principles, like the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
If they practice like honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, like faith, like all these things that like can change the world. Like just like look at Gandhi and his
be willing.
Faith, you know what I'm saying?
Be willing to accept that change is possible, rather than just being stuck in the way that this is how it is.
Yeah, just look at all the open thinkers in history, dude. Like Malcolm X or like
and in the beginning, those are the people that people think are insane because they're doing things different and out of the ordinary, but in the end they're revolutionary.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's power in that.
Yeah, and it's just like it all comes back to those principles. Like, all right, let's be honest with myself. It's not working right now.
Yeah.
So maybe a change is needed. So that's where the open-mindedness comes in.
Yeah.
What am I going to do to be putting in towards that change? And that's where the willingness comes in,
Yeah. I love that. Man. It's an incredible conversation. I know I told you it'd be 2 hours, scheduled it. So I'm gonna try to push forward towards the end of the podcast.
Okay.
But I just want to say I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me about this, because it really is powerful. It really is.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me. And it felt good sharing this stuff. Like, and like my hopes is that, like, in sharing this is like that people that aren't addicts can see, like, maybe like, oh, well, if he could do it, and do it and live this life now that he's living and doing good, that it's not to cast out addicts. There's hope there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on the flip side is that maybe someone is struggling, hears this and be like, wow, if that dude could do it, I could do it.
Yeah, like talking about, that period of time to saying, like, I don't know how it happened, but I love my life right now.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right. The ending segment that I do with all my guests is an ending segment called Desert Island Questions.
Oh, snap.
So Desert Island Questions is whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they expire. So the first category of Desert Island Questions is things to watch. So you get to pick, there's one TV there, and you get to pick 3 movies to have.
3 movies.
Only 3.
Okay. First one popping in my head. I'm just going to ramble them off as they pop in my head.
All right.
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I love Tarantino.
I think that's the most overrated Tarantino movie.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
I was just like,
It's great. No, I get it. It's probably nostalgic too.
Yeah, it came out when I was like a teenager. And
100%.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, because you're like, I've never seen anything like
You
this.
know what, dude? Now that you say that, I'm going to take that one back, dude.
I don't want to take it.
I'm going to take it back, dude.
All right.
And True Romance
Oh, amazing.
was my first introduction
That's amazing.
to Tarantino.
Yep. What a great movie. I feel like a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, True Romance was amazing, dude. It is amazing. So
I bet my wife has never seen that. I'm gonna have to make her watch that.
Oh, dude, you have to make her watch it tonight. Dude.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good one. That's a good pick.
All right, True Romance. Let me think, dude. I'm a big Marvel fan, dude.
Are you?
Yes.
I've only got to Iron Man 2. I never watched anything else. I know. It's not like I don't want to hate them. I just never dove into it.
Yeah.
I need to though.
Yeah, I'm a big Marvel fan, dude. And I think if I was stuck on a desert island, I would definitely want Avengers Infinity War.
Okay. I know everyone is always. That's not been like the first time that's been said on here. I need to watch them all.
Because like it's just there's a nostalgia there again.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was like, I grew up on the Marvel comic books and to be honest, right now, like the way the Hollywood is, I feel like Marvel's the only one that's been killing it. Dude,
Oh yeah,
in originality.
I mean,
because like they're redoing all types of stuff. There's like no originality, dude.
I know they have 19 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, let me say that though. Well, no, in Marvel's defense, Sony had the rights to the Spider-Man.
True. That's true.
So like the past two Spider-Mans was like more on the lines of way it should have been.
I'll allow it.
And like I'm pumped that like Disney bought out Fox.
Yeah.
And now they have the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, like I loved X-Men was like, the first one that they redid, like that was like one of my favorites. Like I don't know if you could get much better than that, but I know that all of them now I just got to dive into.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do there. I'm just like, when it comes to anything, like
I'll give you all of the Marvel ones. I'll give you that whole compendium of all the Marvel.
Okay.
And then True Romance, you have to pick one more.
So I want a positive one. That's a sad one. I mean, hold on. I'm almost there.
What were you going to say?
Forrest Gump.
Oh.
It's sad.
I just watched A Green Mile the other day. Tom Hanks is in some good movies.
Yeah.
You ever see The Green Mile?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Unreal.
What do I got here? What do I got? True Romance.
The Marvel movies.
Okay. I'm good. Let's see. It's just I watch so many movies, dude. This is tough.
I know. This is why I ask them. It's like we learn about who you are as a human being throughout the conversation, but in the end, it really tells someone who you are with the movies you pick.
Yeah, so True Romance is strictly for my love of cinematography.
Okay.
Nostalgic reasons, Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Seeing my childhood come to life on the big screen.
Yeah.
And done right.
Yeah, done right.
Is amazing. And then a positive story, dude, that there's one on my mind, and I love the movie. I just can't think of the name right now. It's Will Smith and his son.
Oh, it's The Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness.
It's a great movie. Really, really great.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, who couldn't love that movie? That's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's motivating.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a great movie.
If you'd have picked 7 pounds, I'd have been like, you're bugging a little bit. Because that movie just tears you up.
Yeah, dude.
That's a wild one. But I feel like that's a good balance.
7 pounds is the one with the jellyfish. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
tears you up.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have a very, very good pick. True Romance, all the Marvel movies, and The Pursuit of Happiness. You touch all of the feelings you want to touch with those.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second category is 3 books to take on a desert island.
The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepak Chopra. I would definitely take one of my recovery books, probably like the daily meditation one.
Okay.
And then Yeah, I would definitely take the daily meditation one.
Okay.
And then Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil. What is that?
Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, wow. What's that about?
Yeah. So he talks about his. Hold on. Let me, I'm wrong. Okay. Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill.
Yes. There's two. There's Andrew Carnegie wrote. Outwitting the Devil was like, it's based on like between hell and the devil. So it's like battling. What like the way I look at it is like me battling my addiction, and constantly. Then my addiction's the devil, so it's like always.
Yeah, you're always working towards it,
staying on top of that. And then the one by Andrew Carnegie that I read, that my buddy Bill Waves put me on this book, but How to Win Friends and Influence People.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
By Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
All right. You read a lot?
So I listen to audiobooks a lot.
Same.
Yeah.
You consume.
Yeah.
That's good. I just got into audiobooks. I just listened to the first one the other, like a month ago. I listened to Matthew McConaughey's book.
How was that?
It was great because he narrated it himself. It's fucking awesome. I mean, it's like listening to Silk. I don't know. Matthew McConaughey, you just can't beat
smooth.
it. It's called
sometimes he's on the call mat.
Yeah, it's called Green Lights, and it's just like about his life, and it's just like who doesn't want to be friends with Matthew McConaughey?
He's so smooth.
You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to be friends with him?
He's such a smooth dude.
Then I started listening to Harry Potter on an audiobook, which I enjoyed. But I need to consume more literature.
My consumption has been lately is masterclass.
Someone else told me about that recently, and I'm sick that I didn't learn about it in the beginning of the pandemic. Instead, I was sitting there fucking building puzzles.
Oh yeah,
I could have been learning how to fix a car or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just put it on and just I like to walk.
Yeah,
I just walk and that I just listen, and like there's so many filmmakers on there.
Yeah,
like that I idolize that are just like telling how they did it.
That's awesome.
Like Scorsese and then Ron Howard's on there, like documentary.
The wild shit.
Yeah, that's just like
that's sick.
Yeah,
that's good. All right, probably the hardest choice for you. You get to pick 3 CDs.
That's easy, dude.
You got it already.
3 CDs. That's all I get to listen to. Yep. Okay.
If you want to take the easy way out, I'll let you pick 3 greatest hits.
Nah, I'll do. I'm trying to decide which Biggie to take.
Oh,
it's either Life After Death, and I'm like, oh, that's 2 CDs for one.
That's all right.
And then when I was Ready to Die.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard choice.
I'll do Life After Death.
Yeah.
I love Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
So I'll do Californication.
It's a good one. What a cool music video.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great album. And then, these are hard questions, dude.
That's why I ask them. You ain't even to the end yet.
No. Shit, dude.
He said, oh, that's easy.
I'm going to get rid of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right.
I'm going to put, so these 2 albums, one of them was like when I first got clean, and it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Kanye.
Yep. And like, that's all I listened to on my little CD Walkman. I didn't have an iPod like everybody else had iPods. My dad didn't, like, we weren't talking because like I was just not conducive to anything like being a son, because I was like an addict. So like he brought me a CD player that I had, and he brought me some CDs, and like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was one of them. And I think that's just such a beautiful, and no pun intended, but like produced album.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was like at the height of the good music thing when like I loved all them artists on good music. 2 Chainz, Big Sean, Kid Cudi, Pusha T. They're like all my favorites. You know? And then with that being said, like Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 1 and 2, like total contrast of where I was at in life. Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 1, I was like end of the road in my addiction, like wanting to get clean, not knowing like if I wanted to live, you know, like, and like that was my soundtrack.
Yeah.
And like one of the songs on that album was soundtrack to my life.
Yeah.
And like I could relate to that because like I could relate to like just that inner pain and like just like Kid Cudi shares that on
He's
it.
pouring it out on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, on Man on the Moon 2, that was one of the other CDs that I got.
Yeah.
That my pops dropped off. And I just had those on repeat, and it's just like Man on the Moon 2 was like, okay, like this is the other side, you know? And I'm just like, what, like, wake up. Wait, hold on. I got the verse right here. It's called Revofev. I know that's the song name. But unfortunately, because of all the drugs I did in my past, my brain doesn't work as fast as it used to. But here we go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, let go. Life does get tough. No need to stress, hold you back too much. Let's go. I heard they found a solution. Where will you be for the revolution? So I'm like fresh, clean, starting this new way of life.
And it's talking to you.
And it's talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, like I just got chills like repeating that, dude. Like, and like the revolution was within myself.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean that's technically 4.
That's all right. I'll give you it. I'll give you it. That's good, man. That's some good stuff. All right. Third to last question. Okay. So I'm going to judge you on this one. Okay. This is a death row meal. So you ever read them articles about people going to death row and they get their last meal?
Yeah.
What would yours be? Anything you want from wherever you want, as much as you want. You got to pick an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert.
Jesus, dude. These are tough, man.
Mm-hmm. I only got 2 more for you, and then I'll get you out of here.
Okay. So I love Mexican food, dude. But where would I get it from? You know, like I for the main course, dude, I think I'm gonna switch it up with different, like main course. I'm gonna jump to the main course because I know like what I want for the main course, and I love like just like classic corn tortilla taco, chorizo.
Yep.
Right, and with the onion, cilantro, and like some variety of hot sauce. Like
I love that.
I would do that for main course. Now for the appetizer, I've been on this kick lately, dude. And I love like a well-made dumpling from like a Japanese place. Like
Listen to me. You ever been, do you frequent this area a lot out here?
No. So like I was going to ask you.
Best I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
In my life.
Yeah.
It's called Bean Curd. It's on 19 in McMurray. I'll scream it from the mountaintops.
Oh,
I'm talking about the best Chinese food I've ever had in my life.
Really?
In my life.
So there's a place in Squirrel Hill called Chengdu.
Chengdu Gourmet. I know. Buzzy's been telling me about it. I have not been there yet, so I cannot weigh in on theirs.
Yeah, dude.
But from the way he speaks about it, I know it got to be legit. But I'm telling you, Bean Curd, I'm trying to get them on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
The owners, I do not think speak English, because I think that the owner that I talk to all the time, he gets by. But I think I talk to his son a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's his son. But I want to ask him to come on here because I need to know how it's made. They're doing God's work in there. Because,
I got to check it out now.
Dude, we just had it last night.
Bean curd.
It's unreal.
Okay.
Unreal. Old heads in my work.
That's some of the content I want to produce is just me going into restaurants
and eating good food
and having good conversations.
That's it. That's all you want.
I mean, the only thing that will make it original is just like my point of view.
Your point of view, because a million people do it, but it's like, I want to hear people's points of view about it.
Yeah.
That's the best part about Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Is like that's what he did. Just go to random places and just have delicious food.
Yeah.
You're just like, God.
Have great conversations.
100%.
Yep.
Okay.
And then for
Dessert. Are you a sweet guy?
I am. But like, I don't know, dude. I don't like, I mean, off the top of my head, dude, and I might be basic for this, dude, but like just like a vanilla bean or a dulce de leche cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah. I mean, you call it as it is. It's good. You can't, I mean, it's good. That's good stuff. And it's big enough that you could, eat that and probably be satisfied.
Or, wait. No, I'll stick with that.
I'll let you take both if you want it.
Nah, I had this mochi down in Miami.
Oh, so good.
Dude, I haven't been able to find it here in Pittsburgh.
You ever have mochi? I mean, you can't find mochi here?
I can find mochi, but it's not as good as this sushi place that was down there.
That's fair.
And it's not even down in Miami anymore, in South Beach. It's like gone.
That's a shame.
But it was like,
mochi's crazy.
Oh, dude.
Too good.
It was insane how good it was.
Because I love marshmallows and I love ice cream, and that's basically what it is.
I was like,
ice cream
what
marshmallow.
is this? I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And they always got wild ass flavors.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, Whole Foods got a good selection.
Yeah.
They got like a whole freezer with all different kinds.
I was like, oh, this probably isn't like fresh like it was.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
It's like freezer burnt and shit. Don't mean it ain't good though.
Yeah.
Okay. Second to last question. So I'm sponsored by Turner's Tea.
Okay.
Who else could sponsor one of the best podcasts out here? Turner's Tea, right?
Yeah.
So I was doing something where it was called the Turner's Crate, where I would get each guest would submit their own question, and then the current guest would have to pick it out.
Yeah.
But I just been asking everyone the same question because it's the most telling question that I ask on this podcast at all.
Okay.
If you're getting ready to go on a road trip and you're sliding into a gas station, you can only pick one snack, one single snack, and it's the last thing ever. What would yours be?
Oh man.
It's interesting because some people are like, that's it.
Okay. Snyder salt and vinegar potato chips.
Oh, I love some potato chips.
Yeah.
Salt and vinegars are good. I came to them late in life though.
I was on the fence between Snyder salt and vinegar. Well, I figured like I want to stay local because I said a lot of different not local things. I mean, Fiore's did pop in my head for the like appetizer. I was like, well, a slice of pizza.
Yeah, that's
Fiore's
fine.
could be an appetizer. But then like I'm gonna stick Snyder's is local. There's salt and vinegar potato chips. I've been eating them since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But then I was also thinking like, I love Cola Ranch Doritos too. You know? But I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick with the Snyder.
I respect that.
Salt and vinegar.
I love a Dorito though. Those are like the default chip. Like I don't know too many people that dislike them.
Yeah, because I don't really eat snack food anymore because I try to eat like super healthy.
But whenever you want to get down.
If it was my last, I'm going with salt and vinegar.
All right. Okay. And the last question that I ask everyone on the podcast is, who did you vote? No, I'm just kidding. If you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
So this conversation would be to like just have the conversation with that person.
Yeah, I'm talking like, the ideal situation is, sitting down at a table like this, no microphones, no nothing, and you just have an opportunity to have a good conversation with anyone. And it's like, I've had answers. People say like Randy Marsh from South Park. People say like, obviously like a grandparent or a loved one or something like that. But I usually try to like, I feel like a loved one is an assumed answer. Yeah. So like, if it's not a loved one, who would it be?
I would be some like a game changer, dude. So like, I'm a big Apple, like, probably, I don't know, because like I don't know how awkward that conversation with Steve Jobs would be.
I feel like it would be very almost like a burden for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. And then there's Oprah's like super successful, dude.
Yeah.
And like she came a long way from where she was at.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that.
I don't know if she's ever been picked on here. I just get what I get from all, like you're about to be episode 160. So I've heard 160 different answers. Some are the same, some are different, but like.
I like stories of like making it out.
I agree with that. I mean, I could see that.
So, I mean, and like, she's very successful and like well loved. I feel like she's done well to be like on that path,
Yeah.
And like helped a lot of people. But then there's Buddha.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a hard question because you can go anywhere.
And Gandhi. Gandhi's an animal, dude. Like he went.
Gandhi's an animal.
I mean, he's just like he went through this like whole. He's been put through that ringer, dude, and he kept his like. And I think he would carry a conversation well. Oh
yeah, I've said it on here before though, but I think that I would love to sit down with Robin Williams or Richard Pryor. I think that those are selfish answers because like.
Yeah.
Those are like, you could talk to someone and like, find motivation in it. But I'm just very curious about like, the genius of that mindset to where you could just sit down and just talk with him. Like Robin Williams is like, insane to me.
Fun story about Robin Williams.
I'd love to hear it.
It was my first time, not my first time, I'm sorry. I was in the semifinals of T-Rove's comedy competition at Pittsburgh Improv.
The March Madness competition?
It was before it got turned into
something
March
like
Madness.
that.
Yeah, something like that. And it was like the beginnings of my comedy, short-lived comedy career.
You killed it though in the beginning?
Dude, I went out and like I was so nervous, and I was like, I'm in the semifinals, and I was so nervous, dude. And like, I went out and I seen like a picture of Robin Williams out there near the bathroom.
Yep.
And there was just like, and I was looking at it, and there was just like this calmness that came over me. And then I went back in, and I made it to the finals. And then I didn't make, like, when I made it to the finals, I got to the finals, I had like 106 temperature. So like, I thought I was going to do good, but I was like so sick up there. But like, I wasn't, it just wasn't. But like, I continued to go down there and keep plugging away at it. But
funny story. First time I ever did stand up was in Matt Light's March Madness competition.
Oh wow.
Made it to the finals. Didn't win. Yeah. But I came in like second or third. They don't tell who's second or third, but yeah. Yeah, dude, it was the most scared I've ever been in my entire life.
Matt's my dude, man. We've had some fun times together performing.
Yeah. That's powerful stuff.
Shit, dude. Who would I have a conversation with? Like, it's just like so hard to narrow it down. Yeah, I want to hear Oprah's.
I think it's a good answer.
Yeah, because like,
she's one of the most like,
Yeah, and she came, like, from what she said, she's came from nothing.
Yeah, and that's definitely like respectable, powerful. Like, you know, that's a good pick for sure.
Yeah, just like that's like a hopeful story. You
Yeah,
know?
I like
sit
that.
down and have conversations. You know,
Yep.
and something that, like, I mean, it's kind of selfish, but I want to be able to take away something, like,
Yeah,
from that conversation. That I mean, not saying I can't do that
I get it.
with other people, but
That's the same thing. It's like my choices were selfish. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I could talk to someone and figure out, you know, something, you know, insane, important, but, you know, I want to talk to Robin Williams about, you know, his life. Richard Pryor, I want to hear them just cutting up, you know. I want Richard Pryor to make fun of me or something.
I mean, Richard Pryor would be an awesome conversation, especially since, like, from his addiction and then going to seeing so much success, like,
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
that's just like what I'm striving to do, you know, like just to do a complete 180, you know.
I think you're doing pretty good at it right now.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I really, really appreciate you coming and talking to me. Like I said, we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And but I knew like you know, I never know what to expect with people whenever I like have them come in, because you never know how things are going to play out. But like,
Yeah.
I really felt like a great vibe from you, and I know that this was a heavy conversation, but like, you know, I really am like, I'm rooting for you. You know,
Thanks, man. Likewise, dude. Like,
I hope that we keep in touch after this.
yeah, I've become like you said, I've become a fan on social media because I started following you because I seen all our mutual
Yeah.
friends, and like I see like all the people that you've been having on your podcast, and I'm like, oh, I've done stuff with them. You know, like
A lot of people, small world.
yeah, dude. Especially when it comes to like Pittsburgh, you know, like
Yeah. Good people usually tend to gravitate towards good people.
yeah.
But before we go, take a second and you know, promote where people could find you.
Yeah. Okay. So my Facebook is primarily like where I do most of my stuff, and that's Matt Thornton on Facebook, and then Blink of an Eye on it's BLINCOF_OF_AN_I. It's long, but
That's all right.
that name stemmed from like when I first got clean. I got my first iPhone, and I used to just go around the city and take photos, and I was like blink of an eye. You know?
That's cool.
Because like I had a street name and it was B Link, so blink of an eye. you
Yeah.
know?
That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like anything like projects that I'm working on, like I've been working with through Work Hard, WH Digital. I've been working with Baron Batch. I just did one of
His residencies.
the video for the residency.
I saw that.
I did that. There's some things on the horizon, more stuff with Work Hard Digital. I'm working on a video for a unreleased project between Big Germ and Bill Waves. I'm doing that.
No big deal.
And that,
Something light.
yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. I mean, two great dudes right there to work with, and obviously I'm doing stuff with Kalichi. That's like my brother. I'm doing stuff with him, and then I'm gonna start like doing my own content again. You know, I kind of like been busy doing other people's content,
Yeah.
but I want to get back in that realm.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
You got a kid coming.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's I have that. Yeah, dude.
So many. There ain't even enough time in a day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I might have to come on here another time.
You're welcome back anytime for sure.
I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you for taking the time out.
Yeah.
Everyone else that's listening, appreciate you guys as always. Please take a second to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. But like I said, every week we're coming back with good stories from great people. So I appreciate you listening, and I'll call you right back.